Good afternoon, my people. How are we all doing today? On a boring, lazy sports day on a Thursday, as we get ready for the last week of the NFL season, I decided to go on for a little while so we could talk football this afternoon, the midday with Miz. Week 18 in the NFL, where they play for pay. A lot of teams, unfortunately, won't be playing for much. And even more unfortunate, one of those teams is our team, the New York Football Giants. And for the fifth straight year, the New York Giants have been eliminated from postseason contention. And it's worse than that. The New York Giants have failed to compete in any of the last 4 football games. And each week, the New York Giants have found a way to get worse. There's no way around it, and there's no beating around the bush. What's up, my brother Logan? Good afternoon. What's up, Blue City Empire Sports? I heard about the article about some weirdo out there who thinks he's going to sue the 2 football teams for playing in New Jersey. Newsflash to that person. They've been playing in New Jersey forever. Don't think he's going to make out with much. Actually, I think he's going to make out with about that. 0. What up, Adam? My brother Adam in the house. Good afternoon. I'm happy people could join me at the midday with Miz. I figured I'd go on a time where it's quiet and a lot of people are yearning to talk football as we go into Week 18, especially this New York Giants passionate and lately emotional community, as the fan base has been split in 2 between keeping Judge for another year or firing him and moving on to possible bigger candidates out there. How you doing, Mike Nixon? Thanks for joining my group. I appreciate all your supports. My second time doing this. I'm new to this, so you bear with me. But really all it takes is some passion and love for our team. And there's a lot of fire around it going into this last game of the season. Help me out. Help me grow as I do to everyone else. And just hit the thumbs up. Give me the like. I love when people leave me some comments. I always answer them back. What's up, my big brother, Pat? Thank you for joining me at the midday. Sub up to Pat Talking Sports. Sub up to Adam Costas. All these guys make great videos. Very interesting videos. Everyone has views and everyone has passion in their own different way. And it's really nice to listen to. Chris Bucco, diehard Jets fan. Can't go one morning without seeing this guy's face. Brings a lot of, he keeps me with the articles. And this guy's a big guy with the prospects coming out of college. I mean, actually one of the best. If I need to know about a player, I usually turn to him. Pat's another guy that's huge on the prospects coming out of college. So as the season ends this week and we go into mock draft season, we'll all be doing homework and studying videos on these kids that we're looking to grab. And Pat and Bucco are some of the guys to definitely look towards. Hey, I want to say hello to my sister for the first time in the chat, Liana Benyakov. That's my sister. My other half, my better half, my twin. What's up, Liana? I love you. Thanks for jumping in. Wales from New Jersey. Nixon. Logan. Big plays in the house. Big plays. Eagles are in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, you got to take your hat off to them. The Eagles have made the playoffs and they didn't even need Week 18 to get in there. They're in there from Week 17. So you know what? We'll see what the Eagles bring to the postseason. They are bringing one of the best running games into the playoffs. Once again, I wanted to send my wishes over there to my sister who jumped in. That's my other half, my twin, Liana. I know she's out there watching. I love you, Liana. Everybody's rooting for you to get better. So we're here on a Thursday afternoon. There's a lot of news out there. We all obviously know Joe Judge is at the top of the headlines again today. A lot of there's some media members you can listen to. We know who they are. Some of the bigger names who usually keep it real. They give you real news. They don't give you news that covers up an agenda of theirs. So listen, Giants and Washington are going to play each other in Week 18, and the game is almost an afterthought. Nobody cares. What's going to happen at the end of the game when those two coaches meet at the middle of the field, as there are fireworks out there that when Judge threw out in his rant. And, sometimes you say things when you're angry that you don't really mean. They just come out of anger, and then maybe an hour or two later or the next day you look back and you wish you kind of didn't say it. You can't 100% prove that he was talking about the Washington football team, but when he said we're not a clown organization, and word got around the football country, a lot of people took it as a shot to Washington. And yesterday, the media, of course, they ran right down the turnpike to Washington. And the second question in the conference to Ron Rivera was, what did he think of head coach of the New York Giants, Judge, calling his team a clown show because of two Washington guys passionately getting into it, who happen to be very good friends from college. So that passion just basically comes from football. When you're losing, you get frustrated. And, Ron Rivera took a second or two and didn't acknowledge the question. He basically said he wasn't going to, give an answer towards that. But I have a feeling that he might have something to tell Judge at the end of this game at midfield. So that'll be worth some watching. And some of the players on the field might actually have things to say to each other. So this could spark up a little bit of a passionate, intense game for a game that otherwise wouldn't have any meaning. Other than us losing keeps us in the 5th spot in the draft. And I don't think we want to fall to 6 or 7. I'll take that 5th spot. Thank you. What's up, Bobby Murphy? Thanks for coming in the chat. Appreciate you, Big Bobby, for Eagle fan base. The guy's smart and brought a lot of football knowledge to the stream the other night. So I have to acknowledge that. Look, what's up, Steve? My brother from across the country, Los Angeles. That's Steve David Sabone. Thank you for coming in. What's going on, Nate? Thanks for entering the chat. We're talking football in the midday. So basically, I'd like to get to some of the games this week. And I know a lot. There are games that are meaningless at 1, and there'll be some games that have meaning later on in the day. And you have a monster night game, a playoff game between the Raiders and the Chargers on Sunday night. You also have 2 games on Saturday. I believe you got Kansas City and Denver. And then the night game, you have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Both those teams are in the playoffs. I'm sure they'll play a tough game against each other. But at the end of the day, both those teams are already cemented their positions in the postseason. Oh, Joe Judge is the big topic in Giants community. There are a lot of stories. There are names being thrown out there the last few days. Harbaugh, and I believe Harbaugh is interested. He also has interest in the Raiders and the Chicago Bears. But when you put those 3 teams together and you have a chance to come to the biggest market in the world and take a well-known Flagstaff franchise that's been in the dark here for a good 5, 6, 7 years, and you can know that if you come here and rebuild the Giants and take them back to the top in the New York area, you will go down as a king, as a god. Okay, you'll instantly be a Hall of Fame coach with everything you've already done in your career. You're a proven program builder. You built the 90s. You took them to the 2012 Super Bowl. Before things, the marriage kind of came to an end. You went to Michigan. You spent 5 years building a program, and you put them in the top 4 programs in the country this year in the semifinals. A great season. You developed some players, a couple of players that'll be going to the NFL, including a stud in defensive end Hutchinson. All right, you got a nice running back in Haskins. That this guy has now built 2 programs, one in the NFL. I know he's had a history before the Niners also. So this man is not one of these. I'm going to give a rookie coach a chance. Not at all. This guy's a veteran head coach, a big name. And the New York Giants are the type of franchise that's usually only won in their history when they've had these big name coaches. You Bill Parcells, Belichick as a defensive coordinator, Tom Coughlin, 2-time Super Bowl winner. Listen, you want to sit here and you want to say that Joe Judge hasn't had a real, a real fair chance. They haven't built the O-line. The roster has not been good. It's been a bad team. And it was going to take, from the get-go, you knew it was going to take more than 2 years to build this program. I believe when he sat down with the owners, the number was 3 to 5 years to build the program. They put it on the table. They brought him in, and the biggest reason they brought him in, besides his history with 2 monster places like Alabama and the Patriots, is that Bill Belichick had vouched for him. That was a reference, and Belichick is a big-time name, arguably the greatest coach ever, and has a big history with Mara and the New York Giants. And I believe he's the number one reason the Giants hired this young guy, along with him being young, and they wanted to have someone longevity. They wanted to lock up a coach here for a decade. These 2 years have gone sour. It's gotten worse. Last year, they put up fights. They were a fighting team. They won 6 games. They showed a lot of aggressiveness. They showed a lot of promise. And it looked like the road was headed up for this year. They went out in free agency. They signed some big free agents and spent big money. And this year was supposed to be a playoff year. All right? But we all know what happened, man. And anyone who wasn't sure before, now 100% knows. This O-line for the New York Giants has been a virus, okay? This O-line is a virus. It's a disease. And this type of disease, it starts up front when you win and lose in the trenches. And we have a disease that's garbage. 4 garbage bags and Andrew Thomas. And that virus spread throughout the team little by little. And then when you lose 1 or 2 of your only offensive linemen that you do have that are quality, and you Nick Gates, you missed Thomas for a couple of weeks. You lost Nick Gates to a broken leg, I believe, early in the season, week 2 or 3, out for the year. And you know what? Little by little, it spread through the team. Nobody to open holes for Barkley. The man's had a rough year. Although in the last few weeks, and I think this is going to fare well for Barkley going into next year, because he has no O-line, he's learned to run and pound the rock up the middle and take the hard 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. And he's been getting better at it. So he's doing something he hasn't done in his career yet. He's running up the middle, and he's not even looking to bounce out to the outside. And I think that when we do put together an O-line, this man's going to put it all together with one more offseason of rest and rehab. You will see the real Barkley next year. But the Giants have to go out and do the right thing in the draft. And it starts in the draft. You could add a free agent guard, which is what they should look to do. They don't have a lot of money, but they have enough to get 1, 2 pieces. And I would do it on the O-line. The New York Giants have to go into the draft with their first 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, assuming that you're not trading anything for a Russell Wilson. I know he's on the table, but let's go right now with the fact that we're not going to go after Russell Wilson, and we're going to keep our picks. I tell you right now, man, if one of the top defensive ends is there at 5, of course you got to take him. We're talking Thibodeau, Hutchinson, maybe even the Purdue kid. But listen, you learn from last year's mistake. And I don't know if it's going to be Judge making the picks or not. Because I don't know if Judge is going to survive this wave of anger that's coming at him. And it's going to hit the ceiling at about 4:30 on Sunday. All right? Gettleman's retiring. The Giants will never fire a guy that's had 38 years in the league. So what they're going to do is they're going to throw him a little retirement party. All right? Give him a nice gift and send him on his way to his retirement. He's not done a great job here, but he's had a real outstanding career in the NFL, and the Giants just do things on a classy level, so it's not going to change. You got 2 picks, most likely going to be 5 and 8 in this draft. The New York Giants have to take a top offensive lineman, whether it's Evan Neal, all right? There's a couple of guys out there. Sometimes the names slip my mind. You got the North Carolina kid. Listen, you got big names out there. This is a very deep offensive line draft. You're not going to find a better draft that matches the opportunity for the Giants to fix their biggest weaknesses. And you got Lindenbaum at 8. We all know who he is. The man's a stud, okay? You're talking about a snowplow that moves at extra high speed. Anything in his path gets blown up. To have a real center, and we haven't had one since our 2 Super Bowl runs back in 07, 8, 9, 10, 11, all right? That's the last time we've had a real center here. No more with the drafting kids and moving them to different positions. You got to stop that. Draft the player at his position and let the man be a beast at his position. You don't draft the center to play guard. You don't draft a guard to play tackle. Enough. Go get a tackle on the right side. Go get this center. If one of the top defensive ends is there and you can have him, you take him, and then you bump down and you grab a big offensive lineman at 8, whether it's Lindenbaum, and you can find yourself a guard or someone to play on the right side in the second round. You have 2 picks in the third. I'd get a third offensive lineman in the third round with 1 pick. And with the other pick, you could look at the power running back Robinson out of Alabama, or maybe another type of running back that's going to help Barkley here. I don't know if Booker's going to be back. And honestly, I know people like Booker. It doesn't matter to me if he's here or not. I'll be honest with you. We go get him running back in the mid-round drafts here. But I'm not even thinking about that. I'm a man who knows Barkley's bouncing back next year big. But you got to do the right thing. And as far as the quarterback, once again, you have failed Daniel Jones. You brought in Daniel Jones. He's a pocket-passing, big arm, play-action, big quarterback, man. Smart kid, very good athlete. You never built him an O-line. How can you be a play-action quarterback without the run game? How can you have a run game if you don't have an O-line? So it's all about the O-line, and the Giants have dropped the ball. They went into the draft last year with a fully loaded offensive line draft, and they did not come away with one. Instead, they thought about the stupid stuff. They wanted Tony, amazing cutting wide receiver, right? Okay. Again, you don't have an O-line. You spent $72 million on Golladay. You brought in Rudolph. You brought Ross in. You had weapons. You already had Sterling Shepard and Slayton. You didn't have to get Tony, but I understand you wanted him. You passed on Micah Parsons. We went over this. I'm not going to go backwards. We'll let it go. You didn't get Slater, who's a beast offensive lineman on the Chargers now. There were so many offensive linemen. Chiefs were collecting offensive linemen well into the 6th round, man. So we all know that draft, not all, but in large part, was Joe Judge. So when you ask where Joe Judge dropped the biggest ball in these 2 years, it was in the draft. He did not have a feel for what was really needed. They asked Gettleman to take a step back. They knew he was on the way out. And they wanted Judge to be here long term, so they allowed him to pick his apples, which is the right thing to do. But he picked the wrong apple. So if you wanted to get a receiver so badly, you grabbed Tony at 20, that's fine. You got yourself a first rounder from the Bears this year. That's great. And a third rounder. But in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds, there were a lot of offensive linemen to be had. And the Giants went and drafted these players that were not needed. Robinson can be a really, really good corner, but you needed an offensive lineman. And we know the Giants dropped the ball. And I got to put that last year's draft mostly, not all, but mostly squarely on head coach Joe Judge. So you found yourself in a year where your offensive line destroyed your season, which a lot of us were worried about before the season started. And you should have been even more worried when they started collecting bums off the streets that probably didn't belong in the league anymore. And as soon as they got the opportunity, because he wanted them to run a couple of jogging drills, they retired and ran away from the game. And that tells you that they were done. You're right, Bobby. Apples that were molded with worms. You look at a stack of apples and then take the shiny, fat, red one. No. You took the one that's got a little yellow and crust with a hole in the middle. And that was the big mistake. And believe me, Logan, you're right. Lindenbaum is standing out like a shining fat star that we need on this O-line. That could be the staple piece that glues this line together. A big middle piece, a leader, a man who doesn't seem to fear anything, okay? You need that type of guy. Just a dirty, hairy, old school, grind it out. I'm going to roll out to the right on the run game and knock someone out and open up holes in the ground game. And will make the other 4 players around him on the O-line step their game up. Once in a while, a player like that comes along. He takes average players and demands that they play better, and they all step their game up around him. And those type of plays strike fear into other plays. We don't have that right now. We got to go get that. So the big question is not whether Gettleman's gone, because we know he's moving on. Are the Giants going outside the house to get a GM, which has been the stronger word the last few days, that they are going to do the right thing and go out house, which tells me that Abraham is probably not interested in the job, nor does he fit the job. But if he's not interested in the job, that's just better for us. Thank you. That means that man is honest and he's doing the right thing for the organization. He knows he's not fit to be the GM to fix this mess right now. So he's doing the right thing, and he'll just stay at his position, which was the cap money position, whatever it is he does financially. Go out house, get a real GM, someone who has a vision, a direction, and a connection to young talent around the college levels. A man that not only can put together a real scouting team, but he's a scout himself. You need that. And preferably it would be a little bit of a younger GM too, because we are in a new modern day of football. No doubt the old way still wins. Power, run game, the trenches, and defense. Clock-consuming, ground-running football still wins championships, although you do in this day and age have to have some type of passing game. But, dude, you got to go out and get a GM with a vision. Young-minded, attached to the talent around the country. He gets out there and meets with kids, watch their games. He's hands-on along with his scouting team. You want the type of GM that has a good scouting team, but he still doesn't trust them. He's still got to be out there alongside them, being involved. That's what you want. All right? Because that's the best of the both worlds. That's an entire crew. You don't want a guy sending guys around the country looking for talent while he sits in his office smoking a cigar and farting, all right? Because he ain't really have hands-on on what's going on, man. You can't truly trust anyone. You have to be hands-on. You have to be right up their butts. You have to be out there yourself. You have to lead them. Lead by example. And then we come to the big question that's coming down this Sunday night. Will Joe Judge be here next year or not? Now, everyone knows we have a torn fan base. Some of the fans are dead ass against this guy, and they want to move on to something new. They want to strip it down and start over. New GM, new head coach. And there are big, enticing names out there that want to be with the Giants. And don't think for a second that a guy like Harbaugh, or there were rumors on ESPN radio this morning, Sean Payton is a guy also that wouldn't mind coming back home to the Giants. The type of player in Barkley, he could do what he does with running backs. He could ignite Barkley big time. Sean Payton could come here and build a program, and you might have to give up a first rounder for him, but it would be well worth it. In the NFL, head coach is everything. So you got a Sean Payton, you got a Harbaugh out there. There are big names that want to come to this big name organization. And like I said earlier, you think they don't want to come here because it's a mess? Wrong. You got 10 picks, 5 in the first 3 rounds, 2 in the top 8. It's one of the most classiest organizations in the country. What's up, Hit Squad? This is one of the best organizations in sports, a flag staff organization, 4-time Super Bowl winner. Yes, it's been messy the last 5 years, but you don't think one of these big names want to come here? No, I don't want to go to the Giants. I want to go to the Raiders. No freaking way, man. No way. Because the guy that comes back to the New York Giants and takes this mess right now, puts it together and brings them back to the top over the next few years, whatever it takes, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. That guy in the New York City area, that guy's going down a god for life, a king, instant Hall of Famer. Because there are some organizations in this league that you can win a Super Bowl in some areas in this country, and it's nice. It's nice for a year. And there are some places like New York City, and there aren't many. There's just a very few. That when you win a championship in New York City, you go down in history. You get the ticket take parade. You'll never buy a drink or buy a meal in New York City again. Eli Manning won 2 championships. He's a god forever. Tom Coughlin's a god forever. We're 30 years down the road, and people still talk about Bill Parcells like it was yesterday. See where I'm going? So you come here, Sean Payton or Harbaugh, and you bring this team back to the top. And both of those guys are big-time program builders. They get it. They know it. They live and breathe football. All right? Like Tom Coughlin. That's the last real coach we've had here. You bring one of those 2 guys, and I think it has to be one of those 2 guys. If you're bringing someone new in here, it has to be one of those 2 guys. It's got to be a big-name monster coach to bring back a mess, but what really is one of the top organizations in sports. It fits. And that's the only way it has to happen. And there's only one guy that could do it. Tish and Mara are co-owners, and I know Tish is coming in here Sunday for the game, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on the Mara because Tish has had it. And don't think for a second, Mara's made boo-boos and he's made mistakes, but don't think for a second Mara doesn't want to win. He's not one of these guys that's okay with making money and wants to lose. He's got plenty of money. Money's not an issue anymore. That man wants to win football games. He's embarrassed that a Dallas team came in here in December and there were like 65,000 Cowboy fans in the stadium, man. Believe me, he got the message. I tell you, Joe Judge was probably offered a few years here, and the Giants were going to let him coach next year. But I tell you what, and the losing's not what really did it, because the ownership understood that this was going to take time. I'll tell you what did it. The reason why Joe Judge might be let go Sunday night or Monday, and there will be a meeting had as soon as that game's over between Tish and Mara. Dude, this guy, the more he's talked in the last few days and week and a half, the more he's talked his way out the door. I know some people don't believe that, but I look at the truth. Joe Judge taking shots at Washington, and that's exactly what it was. You cannot fool anybody. He took a shot at Washington, calling them a clown organization because 2 heated players that are emotional and want to win were losing and got into it with each other. That's called football. That's fine. That's not a clown show. That's football. This is a man's sport. There's emotion and fire in it. And if the players aren't emotional about winning and don't get intense at each other, they don't care. And if players don't care, that's a problem. That's a clown show. But the Redskins, the Washington football team, does care. They put up a fight to the Eagles. They played a hard game. They're disappointed in where their season went. And you got players getting into it with each other. And it's not because they don't like each other's parents or the shoes they're wearing. They don't like the way they're playing. And that's fine. That's good, heated brotherhood. That's not a clown show. And we ain't nobody to be calling anybody a clown show because, let's take a look at us. God damn, we became a circus. We're a disgrace, man. You want to say we're not a clown show, but we are? I don't give a damn if there's no golf clubs at the locker, man. We are not competitive. When you don't pass the 50-yard line more than once a game and you can't put up more than 3 points a game, you're a damn clown show. Yeah, Daniel Jones is out. He's hurt. Yes, we've regressed big time. But, dude, we're not even competitive anymore. The defense gives their heart out for a half, but they die out because they're on the field all game. You cannot sit here and call another division rival a clown show and then try to say that you didn't mean it towards that team. Yes, you did. They just had the fight a week and a half ago, so that's exactly who you were referring to. And then you're going to take a shot at the ex-coach, who we all know was not a good coach for New York. But you're taking a shot at Pat Shurmur, and then the media's running over there asking him about it. And he took the high road. Ron Rivera took the high road. Because they have respect for the Giants organization because of who the Giants organization is. And Shurmur worked here and got paid pretty handsomely. So he's not going to take a shot at the organization. But you know what? I can tell you one thing about this ownership. They never like putting out fires. They don't like cleaning up messes. And they don't want their coaches talking about other places, especially when you're right now the garbage can of the league. When you're this bad, you don't talk about others. You don't talk at all. You shut your face and you try to duck out of the season as quick as possible unnoticed. And then you go to the offseason and try to fix stuff. And my sister's right. Yes, Liana. The Giants do miss Manning. This franchise hasn't been the same since Eli Manning. And Daniel Jones is not a hair on Eli's toe. That's a fact. I like Daniel Jones. He's a good guy. He works hard. He puts in the time and he cares. And he has a good arm. But if you don't have the most perfect offensive line and the perfect team around him, I don't know if Jones has ever given you more than 8 or 9 wins a season. And he's always going to miss a few. And that's what he's shown you. You got to look at all his years here. What is it? 3 years here. He's missed games every year. Bottom line, man. There's no way around it. And this year, he's basically missed half a season. And it's crippling. And yes, we have the worst O-line in football. So if he wants to have an excuse, and he doesn't make any, but he just seems like the guy that's just not the guy that's going to take you to where you want to go. There's an organization that expects championships. And I don't know if Jones is that guy. So for Judge, the fair thing for Judge would be another year. You bring in an outside GM who's in line with Judge. They sit down, they talk, and they're going to try to go fix things together. That's the fair thing to Judge. But is that the fair thing to this fan base that spends big time money on tickets, jerseys, sweaters, hats, goes to the games religiously, spends crazy money? This fan base is sick of this shit. We haven't won since 2011. We made the playoffs in 16, but we tried to buy it. That quick fix doesn't work. We've been the worst franchise in football for the last 3 years. There's no doubt about it. So is it fair to the fan base? What's going on, Zeke? Bobby's 100% right. I've done a video. You could go back and look at my channel. I have a video I did on cleats and turf. The Giants' turf is one of the worst in the league. It's popped more knees. And that's because of that black pebble crap under the turf. And with players today being stronger and faster than ever, wearing the longest little cleats under their shoes to be able to get more cut, what happens is when your cleat gets stuck in that turf and your foot, your foot doesn't turn, but your knee does, or your knee doesn't turn, but your ankle does, what happens is there's no give. And you end up with a torn ankle or a torn MCL, ACL. And we've seen a lot of that in the league the last few years. It's not just the turf in MetLife. There's a lot of turfs across the country that have that. But when you have two organizations in the biggest market in the country, they should be able to put down a real nice natural grass field, and they have plenty of money to maintain it. And the Giants have to go back to grass, because we've lost more players also to injuries, not to make an excuse, than any team in the league over the last 4 to 5 years, especially at wide receiver. And there's got to be something to it. And it's because it's on that nasty, crappy, garbage turf. So, look, I'm torn between giving Judge his fair chance, and he hasn't had a real fair chance, and the other side of the fan base that wants to just move on, wipe it clean, go get one of these big name coaches. Harbaugh sitting out there. Maybe a Sean Payton can come back home where he started with the Giants It seems to be over in New Orleans for him, unless he goes the other route and tries to bring in Russell Wilson over there, which is possible. But if the Giants have a chance to have Harbaugh, and you cannot tell me that Harbaugh is not interested, man, because he put out a statement the other day that he would be interested in the Giants' job if it was available. Now, if that's not a hint, I don't know what is. If it was available means get rid of Judge, and I'd like to come coach for your organization. Okay, Mara, get a clue. Get on the phone with Harbaugh quietly, find out what it is, what could be, and go do the right thing. Because if you're for Harbaugh, bye-bye, Judge. Good luck to you. Out the door you go Monday morning. Because we're moving on to a real proven big-time coach to come build this program, because the losing has become so sickening. And it ain't fair to my fans. And that's what Mara should be saying. This is a loyal fan base that spends big money, and I owe it to them. I owe them a real coach and a winning product. You bring Harbaugh in, and you can still, you can go on a table and see what it would take to go get Russell Wilson. And I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't take as much as people think, because Seattle's desperate and they need picks and they know it's over with Wilson and they want to move on and they want to rebuild. You can give them a 1 this year and you can give them a 1 next year, and you can still keep all your picks. You'll have another 1, a 2, a 3, and 2 4s. So you give them a 1 and a 3 this year and a 1 and 3 next year. You take Russell Wilson. You have Harbaugh. If Harbaugh wants Wilson, if he wants him, you still got all those picks to build an O-line, get yourself a defensive end and a linebacker. The Giants could put together one hell of a football team in one offseason. Believe it, man. They could be a 9-10 win team next year alone. Believe it. The NFC East is not powerful, and this league is made for teams to turn it around in one season. Imagine what you could be in 2 years with a little bit of patience. You think Harbaugh might go to the Raiders? He might. But does Harbaugh really want to go to a Raiders team that seems to have been dysfunctional over the years? He might. They have talent. Nice stadium. Or does Harbaugh want to come to the New York Football Giants, a top-class organization in a very wealthy area in the country, where if he took the Giants from the bottom back to the top, he goes down in history as a god. And we all know that. So that's something for him to think about. Again, the rumors this morning that Sean Payton was out there also. There is an opportunity for him to be had. It might take a 1 or maybe a 2 and a 3 and not a 1. I don't know, whatever it is. It would take some type of draft equity. We will find out. The reason I don't get all heated about if we should keep Judge. No, we should fire Judge. What are you talking about? No. What are you talking about? Judge is building a program. You got to be fair. No, I don't get involved in all that, but the fan base is going at it big time. I stay out of it because you know why? We're not making the decision. Mara listens, but the Giants are going to sit down and make a decision. And whatever the decision is, we're all going to back them up and still be diehard Giant fans. Either way we go. If you ask me, like I said, Judge deserves another year. But I don't want to do another year and then do this all over again next year, because now we just lost another year and we set ourselves back more years. If you could have Harbaugh or Sean Payton and an outside GM coming together, I'm doing that next week, right away, quickly. I'm sorry, Judge. Maybe it wasn't so fair. Your record's 10-23 over 2 years. I understand that the team was a plan to be built over the next 4 or 5 years. I get that. But something better has come up unexpectedly, and we owe it to this fan base and this neck of the woods, part of the country, to do better by them. And we got to go get the better guy. And that's just the way I'm going. Preferably, I'd love to have Harbaugh here. I believe Harbaugh would put the Giants back at the top of the league inside of 2 seasons. Yes. Listen, the Raiders have talent and they have a nice stadium. Can't take it away from them. They're not a bad team, and if they win Sunday, they're in the playoffs. So I'm not knocking the Raiders at all, Steve. But in some places in this country, and New York happens to be number 1, when you win here, It's different than winning anywhere else. You just go down a legend. Let's be honest. Eli wasn't the greatest quarterback ever. He's had rough regular seasons, and he wasn't a big stats guy. But he won you 2 monster Super Bowls that set this city on fire. And for that, he goes down in history as one of the greats. See what I'm saying? And Tom Coughlin's another one. Parcells, we still talk about today because of those 2 Super Bowls. And that's what I'm saying. And Bill Belichick is one of the greatest ever. And the Giants organization jump-started his career. The Giants owner has made some mistakes the last few years, but he did it out of love. He tried to give Eli another chance for messing them up and putting him on the bench that year. And he cried in front of the media, and the fan base was so angry. So he tried to make it up to Eli by drafting Barkley. It wasn't Gettleman. It was Mara. He wanted Barkley. He wanted Eli to get one more run at the Super Bowl and go out on top. He felt like he owed it to him. But what he really did, out of the goodness of his heart, what really happened is he set this franchise back about 3, 4, 5 years. Man, it is what it is, man. Believe me. Mara's one of the best owners in sports. The man wants to win, and he's won here. And I think this offseason, Mara's going to show you that again. I think he's done with the losing. I think he's embarrassed. And most of all, he listens to the fan base. And I think he hears it loud and clear, the anger in this area. His fan base expects so much more of the Giants. To be embarrassed the way it's been, believe me, it's not sitting well. No, Odell is in LA playing for the Rams. They're in the playoffs, and they have a shot to make a run at the Super Bowl. He's doing really well. They have 5 touchdowns in 6 games. I think Odell's found himself a home. It wasn't a fit anymore with the Giants. They had to move on. Odell is playing on a winning team right now. The Giants are going to they're building a young team. It's going to take time. A guy like that doesn't have patience to hang around and wait. And the Giants moved on from him because his antics off the field were becoming too much. It was like a soap opera. One thing the Giants don't like is soap opera. They want football to be a serious thing around here. It's been like that throughout their history. So if you want to dance and propose to nets and punch walls and cry to the field goal post, you got to go do that somewhere else. And the Giants punished him. They sent him to Cleveland for 2.5 years, where he had no life and no sports, and he was not happy and he was not good there. That was a punishment for the bullshit he did. Now he's in a good place with the Rams, and we'll see where they go. Well, just want to come on and talk about this whole Judge thing and Harbaugh and the new GM coming in. A couple of names out there like Rooney. I always liked Reddick. I'm looking for these type of guys that are young, in tune with the college talent. They have scouting ability, and they're going to take this Giant organization in a more modern day 2021, 2022 direction. The Giants with Gettleman have been stuck in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, and that used to work in the past. They won 4 Super Bowls back then, but the league has changed. And the league has changed, so now the Giants have to step into the year 2022. And that means a young, modern GM with an out-the-box mind and a different direction. An eye for this type of football's talent. It's out there. There's a lot of talent in this draft, and the Giants have all the picks in the world to go get it. Yeah, I believe LeBron played a role in getting Odell to LA. I really do. LeBron has power like that in the sports world. And I think that he had conversations with Cleveland to get Odell out of there. He was not happy. And I think, LeBron has that type of power. He definitely played some type of role. Sometimes LeBron thinks he's the president of the United States. You see, he's not. So he's got to, stay within his boundaries. But he is a powerful person in his country. 100%. Yeah, Cleveland's been a mess for decades, and they had one nice year last year, and it seems to me Cleveland's back to a mess this year. Now they're going to get rid of Mayfield, so that didn't work out. How many quarterbacks have the Browns had over the years? They can never make any of them work. You got to think after a while, it's not the quarterbacks, it's the organization. There's a reason Cleveland's never won a Super Bowl. You know? Well, I'm going to open up the lines here. See anyone wants to come in. I had my one lock of the week this week. There's a couple games I like, but there is one lock of the week. The problem is that if they ever lost, it would cost you a fortune. They are minus 1,100, and they are minus 15 points on the line, which is a lot. But the Colts will, without a doubt, no doubt in the planet, the Colts will beat the Jaguars and walk into the playoffs this week. It's a winning in for the Colts. The Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL and don't have a coach. Buko, my man. Jets are plus 17 with Buffalo, man. That's a tough game. It's going to be cold, snowy. The Bills are psyched up for the game. It gets them a high seed and wins them the division. The Jets are playing real tough, hard-nosed football the last few weeks. And Wilson, the quarterback, is giving the Jet fans the one thing they hope for this year. He's shown some growth and signs that he is a franchise quarterback going into next year. And I think for the Jets fan base, that's good enough. And Coach Saleh seems to have grown as the year gone on. So the Jets have an actual road headed north into next season with just the biggest draft as we do. They have a lot of picks. They also have 2 picks in the top 8. I believe right now they're 4 and 7. The New York Jets are building something. You know, a lot of times we like to hate and say, yeah, they have no history. They're garbage. They win championships. But you got to look at it for the moment right now. Right now, the Jets are headed into a draft with a lot of positive signs. So that's good for the Jets. And but I don't think they're winning in Buffalo this week. It's going to be a cold, nasty game for them. And you know, I see the Jets giving them 2.5 quarters of real good football. But at the end of the day, I think the Bills will find a way to pull this game out about 28 to 16, 17, like that, you know. So I think Wilson been playing real good, but he might find a rough spot up in Buffalo against that defense and the cold, nasty winds up in Buffalo with snow. It's going to be a tough place for the Jets this week. 17 points, I won't touch it. 28-17, Buffalo. You know, that's 11 right there. So I can see 11 to 13. Bills win. That being said, Steve asked, do you think the Cowboys go far in the playoffs? I think the Cowboys, I've been quoted as saying to a lot of my friends, the Cowboys are one of the most dangerous. They'll be an underdog team in the playoffs. It's one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs to play. They might have the best front 7 in the playoffs outside of the Rams. The guy Parsons is a monster. They can really get after the quarterback in a big, bad way. The pass rush is lethal. So when I look at the Cowboys, if they're going to run into a team like the Rams in the first game of the playoffs, they're going to lose. The Rams are not a good matchup for the Cowboys. But if the Cowboys got a chance to go to Lambeau as a major underdog, it's a very dangerous game for Green Bay, being that Green Bay has all the pressure on the planet on them. They have to go to the Super Bowl this year. They have home field advantage. They're the best team in the league all year long. And a team with Dallas's defense can come into Lambeau and cause them a lot of headaches. I would still pick Green Bay to win. But I think the Cowboys would ride them right down to the very end of the game. So I think the Cowboys are dangerous. And if they get the Eagles in the first round, they would beat the Eagles, in my opinion. Eagles made the playoffs. Just getting into the playoffs this year for the Eagles is a successful season. Nobody expected them to win more than 5 games. They've had a good year. They have 9 wins already. They're in the playoffs. So anything from here on is a cherry on a cake for them. They got 3 picks in the first round, and they could build on into next year. So they might be headed in a really good direction. That's it. Giants will be back this draft, 22 draft and 23 draft. That's the foundation. If the Giants do the right thing and build the team the way their history has shown, build through the trenches and through the drafts and stop throwing around money on the offseason like idiots, The Giants will be fine. They won't have a lot of money this offseason, but they're going to be building a young team, and they're not going to really look to free agency except for maybe grab an offensive lineman somewhere. After next season, a lot of these contracts that Gettleman put on the team last offseason will come off. So they will have a lot more money. They would still have about 30, 35 million this offseason. So they could get some little pieces here and there. You know, the small pieces that work hard and plug in little holes, you know. Again, everything comes down to who this coach is going to be and who the next GM is going to be. And we're going to find that out in the coming week. I'll tell you about the Giant-Washington game, man. The most interesting thing about that game is when Ron Rivera and Joe Judge have to come to midfield when the game's over and shake hands. Let me tell you, there might be more cameras on that than there will be at the Super Bowl. Will those two shake hands and jog away, or will there be a couple of words and maybe a punch thrown? It's going to be interesting, man. And then everything that pursues after the game in the Giants organization, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of media around ESPN, these rats, these media rats are going to be all around the place sniffing in the MetLife waiting. How can we get Judge fired? How can we make news stories for Monday and Tuesday? That's what the media does in this country. They love negative stuff. They love people getting fired. They feed off of it. And they can't get enough of trying to split this country in half and put everybody against each other. I don't want to get into politics, but with the virus bullshit and pending if you're black, white, yellow, purple, or green. This is what the media does, man. And people buy into this bullshit. Social media could be a great platform, but I also blame social media as a big reason why this country's been ruined. And a lot of us old school guys like Steve, Buko, me, Bobby, Pat, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Bobby says the first... What's up, LA Sports? What's going on, my man? That's LA Sports from up in Canada. Know this guy from the first time I got on here. Very good sports fan. Our most likely first-round opponent is the Bucs. All right, so we spoke about this the other day. The Tampa Bay Bucs are a tough team. They're defending champs, and we all know about Tom Brady, and we're all kind of sick and tired of the guy, but he's great. They have a lot of good players. And I believe they've rested a lot of their players injured the last few weeks. I don't know how injured they are. I believe that a lot of their injuries were really a hidden way to rest these players for the playoffs. Tampa Bay and their coach is not stupid. They proved that last year. And their regular season doesn't mean much to that team. They get their shit going in January. So we're going to find out. It's a very tough opponent for the Eagles to go into Tampa, and a very tall order to beat Tampa and Brady and that front seven on defense if it's healthy in the playoffs in their building. I wouldn't expect the Eagles to win that game. But if the Eagles put up a nice fight, you made the playoffs this year in a year where you weren't expected to be very good at all. You're ahead of schedule. So you basically got to look at this season as a positive for the Philadelphia Eagles big time. Either way you cut it. It's a building block into the draft, 3 picks in the first round and into next year. Just keeping it real. I'm not an Eagle fan. I don't like the Eagles at all. I can't help it. I'm a Giant fan. But Bobby's right about what he said the other night. When an NFC East team goes to the Super Bowl, the other NFC East team fans tend to for some reason, they side with the team and root for them. It's kind of like when you have a rivalry with your family or cousins, but when they go far and you didn't, you're kind of rooting for them on the down low. So we see what happens. What's going on, John Smith? Thanks for joining. Please hit the thumbs up. Everybody give me the thumbs up. Help me out here. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you coming in here. I'm new at this. This is my only second live stream ever. I will host a show once a week. All right? Called The Bottom Line with Miz. And it will mostly be football talk. As we go into the playoffs, we'll talk about the playoff teams, not only the Giants. And sometimes I like to give picks and look at the spreads. And, of course, there will be a lot of news as we head towards April in the draft. Unfortunately, these days for the Giants fan base, the draft seems to be our biggest day of the year the last few years. A lot of people are into draft. They think it's exciting, young talent. You can't wait to get a hold of someone great, the next future star. But guess what? I'm old school and I'm not. I like the draft because it's important for us these years because we've been awful. But the bottom line is, When you're looking forward to the draft every year, it's because you're garbage during the season. And, man, that don't sit well with me. I'd rather be a good team and win 9, 10, 11 games and not even think about the draft, man. I want to get back to those old days of the Giants when the draft wasn't even a thought of in our head until like a week before the draft. You know what I mean? These days, it's become far too important for us, and it's not cool. Oh, yes, I watch basketball. I was a much bigger basketball fan when I was younger. But I do tune into basketball. I think the game has changed a lot. I don't like that the players plan to get together on teams. You never saw that in the 90s. Okay, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing never left the Knicks because he couldn't beat Michael Jordan and go join Jordan and Pippen. You didn't see that, you know. Barkley didn't leave the Suns or the Sixers because he knows he couldn't beat Jordan. And if you couldn't beat the best with the team you've been on your whole life, then it wasn't worth winning. It's not the same. And, but I tune into basketball. I'm a Knicks fan. I think the Knicks are trying to build something. And, we'll give them the time to build it. It's not like we have a choice, right? But at least they're competitive these days. It's something they weren't for over a decade. So they're competitive. They're fun to watch. They gave New York City an exciting season last year during a real bad, dark time, the pandemic. And they brought a lot of spirits up. So you like the kids on the Knicks. And I'm a big fan of Barrett. And I don't like when people bash him. The kid's only 21 years old. That's another thing in today's day of sports. Can a person have a couple of years to grow and get better? Or if he's not great the first year, you want to throw him out the window and ship him out. Come on. Let's get real now. He's a 21-year-old kid with a lot of promise and a lot of talent. Okay? You got to build pieces around him. Randall's another guy. I love him. He plays his heart out. He loves being a Knick. You could see it in his face. He wears his heart on that jersey. And that's good enough for me, man. Any other questions here? Or I could try to bring people in. We'll talk smooth one by one for a few minutes. I like to do it the one-on-one. It's better. And sometimes these streams are great. I love the entire Big Blue, and I like the Eagle fans and Jet fans that join in with us. But sometimes when you have 8 or 10 in a stream, man, you don't. It's very hard to get a point across without being cut off by the fourth word, So I think one-on-one sometimes. I'm going to do the one-on-one thing a lot. Maybe sometimes I bring in 2 or 3. But I think it gives people an opportunity, a platform to express their feelings without being cut off 6 or 7 times. Lately, the streams have been getting real heated because judge or not judge, that's what's going on in the Giant fan base. And I think it's a good thing because it shows how much the fans care. And I know it sounds funny to say Maras is not listening, so it's not getting across, but you're wrong. I believe there are people in the Giant organization that do tap into these things and they do listen to the radio hosts. And they hear the anger and the disgust in this organization. And Mara will definitely listen. He proved that when they sat Eli. He heard the entire fan base and tried to make it up for him for the next year or two, which wasn't the best thing either. But you could tell that guy cares what the fan base says, wants, and does. Because, let's face it, at the end of the day, this fan base pays his living. I'm getting a couple of these in the chat, and I'm going to maybe bring some people in. All right, Bob, no patience anymore. They want instant results, 100%. That's today's society, and that's a problem. Nobody wants to work hard or, build something over time. Steve Sabone, my brother from L.A. Hey, Steve, what you doing? What do you think really happened with Antonio Brown? And with Antonio Brown, there were a couple more tweets today that came out. Now, through the week, I said that I didn't believe anything that happened on that field, that his playing time was messed with, and his salary is based on the receptions he gets. He does not get a salary for the year in the NFL. The way they brought him in is the deal they made with him is we're giving you your final chance. And you're going to get paid by the amount of receptions you get throughout the season and per game. And I believe he was a couple, maybe 8 or 9 receptions in that game Sunday away from a $375,000 paycheck that he had to earn through receptions and playing time. And the coach took him off the field a few times, and he erupted. And when the coach told him to get back on the field, He claimed that his ankle was hurt. His ankle didn't hurt, but he was trying to stick it back to the coach for taking him out. And I don't blame the guy. If you're paying him by receptions, you cannot fuck around with the guy's pay by putting him in and out throughout the game. All right, so we all know Brown is a ticking time bomb. The bomb went off, he erupted, and he put on a show. He ran through the end zone, took his shirt off, tossed it in there, danced around, ran out of the stadium, tried to take an Uber. I don't know, a whole bunch of crap went on. Today, the coach has a different story, so that he didn't want to go back in the game, but he tried to put him in the game. I don't know, it's a he said type of thing. I mean, Brown losing money on not getting the amount of receptions that he feels he can get a game makes more sense to me. And we all know he's a head case, and we all know what happened from there. All right, Liana, have a good night at work. Enjoy your night, and give me a call later. Be safe and smile. And so that's what happened with Brown. Unfortunately, who knows if he has a career anymore. Maybe someone takes another shot on him next year. We'll see. He's a talented player, but it seems like his mind is not all there. And I believe it started with that hit from that linebacker from Cincinnati in that playoff game 5 years ago. He took a shot to the head. He had a concussion. He was never the same. As his wife claimed that he hasn't been the same person since. And who knows, he might have developed a lot of mental issues. What's up, Jay? What's going on? Bobby Murphy, did you hear? They also shot up his ankle with a painkiller that the NFL suggests they not use. Yeah, I believe it. I believe that Brown didn't go over the edge knowing that he doesn't have many more chances in this league just because he felt like going off the edge. Especially on a team going into the playoffs with another chance to repeat, and he just won a Super Bowl on. I believe that they pushed him over the edge. I do believe that. Logan, I feel bad for AB. He's got some issues upstairs. He needs to see a doctor. I think 100%. He definitely has to sit down and talk to somebody, get on the right medications. I think he's been trying to do that. I think Brady's been helping him, but something happened here that screwed with his money, and there's not one guy in his chat can say that if you took a money loss or someone took some kind of financial from you, that you're not going to erupt and have a lot of anger about it. To a lot of guys in this world, money's personal. Let's see right here. I think his career is over. Very well could be. Jay says AB's career is done. Could very well be. You feel bad for the guy. You don't exactly know what the story is. Bobby, yes, it was Vontaze Burfict with a nasty illegal shot to the guy's head. I think we all remember it. Over the middle. Real grass over turf any day of the week. All these stadiums across this country got to do away with turfs. They are destroying NFL players' knees and legs, and it's destroying the product for us. We're getting a poorer product. I'm not saying it because it's my team, but it seems like that turf shit in MetLife has affected the Giants more than any other team in the country, man. Just is what it is. It just seems that way. I know the Giants have been really bad, and it contributes to it, but they've lost so many players over the last 5 years. I mean, if we look at the list, it's not normal. Got to do away with that black pebble crap. I know exactly what it is because I've been on it. And like I said, with the cleats and the muscles in these players' legs today, with the speed they play with, they're not getting any give because there's no dirt like the old school grass with dirt where your cleat used to turn, so your leg used to turn. It used to be good. There was give. Now your cleat gets stuck like it's stuck in cement. Your knee turns, but your foot and ankle doesn't. Pop, there goes a knee. You're done for the year, maybe 2 years. So, Bones, you believe in the Bengals? The Bengals are for real. I believe the Bengals are a really good football team. They had the chemistry all year. It's not going to just disappear. I believe that they might be a year or two ahead of themselves. They're a young team. They're going to go to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but they could win a playoff game. I believe the Bengals are on the rise, and they're only going to get better over the next year or two. And if you look at that division, man, Cincinnati might be the class of that division for the next 5 years. The Ravens will always put up a fight. They'll get healthy and come back strong next year, but the Bengals will be right there with them at the top. The Steelers are going to have to do a little rebuilding and find themselves a quarterback as Ben is retiring. Yeah, playing on grass in the old days when football was really football, man. And you had a lot of players play a lot more vicious, a lot more physical. There were no rules. Receivers got destroyed. Quarterbacks got destroyed. Nobody blew out their knees ever. Players played with these nicks. Today, that player hurts his toe. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks, man. We go over this all the time. How many times did we watch Sterling Shepard on the floor screaming? Toe, ankle, foot, finger. Guy's been out his entire career, man. I said this before. When you're on a loser, man, you seem to find a lot of injuries. When you're on a winning team, for some reason, players get injured, but they play through it. You ever notice that, man? My man, Little Benny. What's up, Little Benny? This guy, Little Benny, is one of the youngest guys on the streams, man. But you wouldn't know it if you spoke to him on a phone and you didn't see him face to face. You think you're talking to a grown 40-year-old mature GM who's been in the league for years. Kid's smart, well beyond his age, totally understands the game and understands, especially from a drafting point of view and a GM point of view. This kid understands it. He gets it, man, at a very young age. I like to have him on anytime he wants. I'm going to take a couple of calls, of course. I'll let you guys get your points across. Logan plays football on a tackle league. He's a good player. I call him Logan Urlacher. Shaved that head, looked just like him. The way they used to call me when I was younger. I love playing on grass. Playing on turf don't feel right. Playing on turf may give you a little speed, but let me tell you something. You're going to feel pain the next day or two in your hamstrings and your ankles. Yes, you guys can join. I'm going to have you, let's get a couple of guys calling in. I'm going to take you one by one, give you a chance to talk without people cutting you off. I'll wait for the first call in. I know how to take it. That's about it. I gotta put the link. I'm sorry. Let me get babe. Yeah. You know how to paste the link in there? Oh, I remember Billy did it yesterday. 1 second, guys. Figuring it out. The link.
Oh, it's on the bottom. Invite.
Oh, invite.
Oh, it's right there.
This.
Yeah.
And then go to here, and I think it was. Oh no. Billy did it different.
Copy.
Copy.
Hit the.
Copy.
Hit that.
It doesn't work that way.
Yes.
No, it don't. All right, you'll see. It doesn't work that way. I did that. It doesn't work. Paste. All right. The link's in the chat, guys. You can call in, take it one by one. What's going on, Big Slay? I see Zion today. Yo, Logan. Yo, text the link to Zion. I'd like Zion to come in also. If you have a chance, maybe you could just text Zion real quick. Just text him that link. Get John.
Where's the pump this full?
1 second, I gotta. Oh, I want to send it to John. See where Buko is. I see you guys. Give me a second here. All right. How we doing, Adam? Can't hear him. His microphone's off. I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
What's going on, Miz? How are you?
What's going on, Adam?
I hear
Big
you.
Adam's at the house.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing? Work today?
I work every day, man.
That's good.
Every day is a work day. But I thought I'd pop in and, just
Yes.
comment on a few things. One, I'll start with the turf. Field turf has been here. The reason they brought it in is they wanted to make it more like dirt. The problem is the new turf doesn't give the same way it used to. So they're doing that because A, they're cheap, and it's the NFL. It doesn't take as much time to bring in trays of grass. There are certain teams that have grass, Kansas City, Washington. Those teams have grass. I don't know why they can't do it. I just think the Mara right now doesn't want to open the purse strings. You know what I'm saying? I think they're just being lazy and cheap. Remember, back in the mid-2000s, they had grass. Remember, in the mid to late 90s, they had grass. And Wellington Mara's most famous speech was, on this field of painted mud, we're gonna go represent a team in the Super Bowl. So that's just how they do it. I know what you're saying. Turf is killing everybody. That's why concussions are up. That's why, like you said, knees are being blown out, soft tissue injuries being blown out. I mean, how many quads are like getting pulled this year? I mean, my God, the quad injury wasn't anything. Now everybody around the league has a quad injury. Give me a break. Now the other thing is that I wanted to mention was I'm on the fence of firing Judge, and the only reason I am on that fence is to clean slate it, because like you said before, if we win 6 games next year, what are we really doing? You know what I mean? What are we really doing with this guy if he's going to be fired anyways? And someone's made a good point on a website I go to. They said, what's going to happen come training camp when this guy is telling people to run laps and he's 10-23? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. That's right.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do for a coach when you're 10-23? It hasn't produced the results you need. So, we'll see what happens. If they bring him back, he'll have to pull Tom Coughlin and change his ways a little bit, a little bit to kind of get the fan base to believe in him, get the players to believe in him, and then maybe you'll see a different result. To me, I don't think so. I think you should just bring it in, I think you should bring it in like they did with Dave Gettleman, where you brought in Pat Shurmur and Gettleman together. I think that's what they should do in this scenario. And because Judge, to me, has proven me nothing other than he's making the team regress, saying dumb stuff. And let's be honest, he's a coward, because you can't go out there and say all this stuff about Ron Rivera's team. And then when the media goes to give you a conference call with the other team's media that you do for years, for decades, that you do, every team does that, you're going to then back out and not do it? Give me a break. Give me a break. That was very soft, especially when a guy comes in and criticized the Eagles last year for not playing the last game. You go out here and you make fun of another team and then don't have the audacity to face the music. If I'm a player, I'm looking at this coach like, yo, you're going to go out here and call this team out, yet you're not even going to stand up and back up behind your words? Give me a break.
Right.
So
I saw that article last night. I forgot to talk about it in my opening monologue today. I wanted to bring that up when I spoke about Washington and the shots he took at them. Some people want to defend him and say it wasn't, but he's lying. It was a shot.
It was a shot, man.
And so, and it proves it's a shot by you're avoiding the first opposite team's media for the first time all year. Come on.
In decades. So if it wasn't a shot, in decades, nobody does that. You know who does that? Somebody who's soft.
Listen. What do you, Adam? What do you have in mind? Let's say the owners get together. They decide Sunday night they're going to go in a new direction because they've spoken to a few people out there already, and they have something up their sleeve that we don't know about yet. Or what are you looking for as the next regime?
Well, I'm looking for a coach with experience, whether that's Harbaugh. If you can get Harbaugh, to me, that's the guy you move heaven and earth to get. You move heaven and earth to get that guy, and you say, Judge, see you later. Go learn special teams in Mississippi State. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like it's the same thing with when you have draft picks and players. I don't let a player on the roster dictate who I'm drafting in the draft. I don't let a coach that's on my team dictate that if I'm going to go get Jim Harbaugh. If Jim Harbaugh legitimately said, and it's not like, just floating out there to try to get money from Michigan, he legitimately wants to come here, you got to call his agent like, how serious are you? And they'll say, we're 100% serious. And you go and you cut that guy and you do everything you can to get Jim Harbaugh in here. If not, you get another coach, maybe a Dan Quinn, Bill O'Brien. I know people don't like those guys, or even a Doug Peterson, guys who have had resumes that we need. The Giants need a big time resume coach in here. They wanted to do it with Mike McCarthy. They got wowed by Judge because, like you said, Bill Belichick said Joe Judge is better than your last two idiots, which obviously happened with the Jets when Peyton Manning said to Adam Gase, to the owner, that hey, Adam Gase is your guy. So obviously, when Peyton Manning speaks, people listen. Bill Belichick speaks, people listen. To me, go get your big fish. Don't think twice. Go get your big fish. I think the Giants want to restore order to the fan base. And if you're right, which I do think you are, about him listening to the fans, well, then something big is going to be happening in the next few days. So that's just me. Judge right now is proving that he's a clown, not even standing up to your words. You're going to have a team now. You think Ron Rivera's not going to have that team fired up? Really? You don't think they're going to come out there?
Definitely.
The
players will be fired up without Ron Rivera.
Right. You think they don't? You don't think that's being played in the locker room? Come on. You don't do that when the team's already stinking, right? So, anywho, Miz,
what do you real quick? What do you make out of ESPN this morning talking about that there is an opportunity on the table to reach out for Sean Payton?
I would do that too. I mean, the problem is that remember the Buccaneers traded for John Gruden. Remember from the Raiders, they took him. So if we can get him for a first, like everyone says with Russell Wilson, I'd do it because he's going to bring order to the team. Sean Payton's a winner. He's won a Super Bowl. The teams in New Orleans have been competitive and have won in his tenure there. So if anybody's like, oh well, I don't want Sean Payton, then you can keep the loser Judge and keep losing when somebody else gets Sean Payton, because Sean Payton's a guy that's a program builder, like Jim Harbaugh.
Program builder, exactly.
And if we want to win and be a part of this division, in terms of going from like worst to first, we need a coach that's going to come in and command respect. Okay, that's not going to tell me about culture and losing when he knows about winning. Because that's the thing that I hate. Judges up there talking about culture. Give me a break, bro. You haven't won nothing. You win. That's when you get a culture. Every media outlet said it. Every old coach said it. You win. That's the culture you'll breed. Okay, you lose. That's what we got. We still got losers. And the problem is the Giants need a clean house so they can get rid of the stigmatisms of the losing, right? I think too many of the in-house guys have had that stigmatism and a black cloud over them, and that's what's keeping them in the losing mode, right? So, and I know you said Judge didn't get a fair deal. I don't have time for a fair deal. You're on this team. They gave you they gave you $200 million to spend, and your team still fell apart. And then they're not competitive down the stretch. And even when they did have Daniel Jones, they still stunk. So,
Bobby Rowe, who's crying? Joe Judge? Bobby Rowe.
Yeah. That's who's crying. Is Joe Judge's ego is crying right now. Anyways, man, let me let you go. Thanks for having me, and
see you later.
Peace.
All right, that was Adam. Adam has a strong take. It's easy. He wants to say goodbye to Joe Judge Sunday night. So he's been like that for a couple weeks. So he's been strong on that, and he hasn't wavered at all. My next guy in here is we got Jay on. What's going on, Jay?
Yo, what's good, Miz?
Good. What's up? How are you?
Nah, I'm good. How about you?
Oh, brother. Talk to me. What's on your mind about Joe Judge, the next GM, or what do you want to see done Sunday at 4:15 when this game ends?
You know what's gonna be done?
Zion, I'll see you, Zion. I'll get you on in a few minutes. Hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Jay.
subs on, yeah. But I expect nothing on Sunday. I don't expect anything to happen. But I don't know if we're gonna fire Judge or not. That's my whole thing. Because if we do fire him, I know the fan base is gonna continue to fight, have problems. I already know where this is gonna go.
Right.
I will personally
Let's
go
go.
after Jim Harbaugh because he's been coaching for the 49ers for like years.
Oh, never mind. He put it in. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, for a coach like Jim, he's been coaching with the 49ers for so many years, got them to the playoffs a lot, got them to the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens. That's a
Right.
coach you don't want to pass up on. I will hope that we will get him, though.
Jay, you're talking about Harbaugh in Baltimore? Jay?
Yeah,
No, we're talking. Listen, there's two Harbaughs. They're twin brothers.
I'm talking about the one who was coaching with the 49ers.
Right. He's in Michigan. That's the one that has interest, and that's the one that's rumored to possibly be a Giant or a Raiders. I think the Bears are thrown in the mix also. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll personally do it.
Right. I mean, Harbaugh's a big-time coach. He's a big-time program builder. Judge is sorry. I know he's a young guy, and maybe he could be on the rise. I don't know, but he's not in a Harbaugh's world. You see, Harbaugh is more in the world of a Tom Coughlin type. So that's exactly right now, I think, what the Giants really need. But we shall see what happens after the game Sunday. What about the quarterback position?
Look, I'm sticking with Daniel Jones until next season. That's my plan. Don't get rid of him this year. It's not the time to do it. Because we're not going to have a quarterback to replace him because most people don't even have a clue who they even want as quarterback. Then, how y'all want to do quarterback when we have no offensive line? Can y'all please tell me that? Without this offensive line, this offense goes nowhere.
Right. That's the truth.
I don't
We've
know
seen
how
that
many.
in the last few years, right? We've seen the O-line destroyed a whole season for the last at least 2 to 3 years. So
Yeah, we seen it with Eli Manning. Everybody thought Eli Manning was the problem. No, it was the offensive line. When you don't block for your quarterback, you get this type of results on offense.
yes, you're right. So that's the quarterback. Basically, these are the things that are going to happen. And with the GM, would you like to go outhouse and get a totally different GM from this organization? I'm pretty sure you do. The whole fan base does.
Look, if we're gonna do that, make sure we clean house all the way. Don't leave some parts. Try to keep some parts. If you're gonna get a new GM, make sure everything is fresh, like brand new. Let them get their own people to see what they could do.
Right. That's true. Anything else? Let me get a little fun prediction for Sunday's game. What do you see?
Out of us in Washington,
Yeah, score. Will it be close or is it going to be big?
I really think Washington defense is gonna dominate the Giants offense. But I could see our defense putting up a fight, but it's gonna be at some point the defense is going to get tired and give up touchdowns.
Right.
I really don't see Jake Fromm doing too much on Sunday anyway.
Right. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of a competitive game, but at the end of the day, like I've been saying, losing for us right now is winning.
Yep.
You got to lose the game. You can't drop from 5. And, keep the draft at 5 right now. That's the best thing for us. We have 5 and 8, and if we could end up at 5 and 8, that'd be great.
Yeah, because with the 8th pick, I could see us trading down. So,
yeah. All right, Jay. Anything else? If not, I'm gonna bring someone else on. I got a couple people waiting backstage, and I'm pretty sure I'll see you at I think there's a stream tonight. Something's going on somewhere. So
yeah, I'm gonna try to be on everybody's stream. I try to make it to everybody's.
all right. Always look for me. I'll pop on once, twice a week. I like to do it in the midday while I have the time. My work schedule may change in 2 weeks, but I'll still always have the late afternoon open. So I like to do it then because other people like to have the nights.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, subscribe up to Jay. That's Jay Productions. This guy's a young and up and coming big football fan. So that's one of our Blue Crew guys, as we all are, one big family. Thanks for coming in and the support, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. And go Giants.
You help, brother. That's all right. My next man up. You know what? I got a couple of guys. Well, I don't want to keep people waiting, but I'm gonna real quickly bring in Lou because I know that he's working and I know that he's breaking in real quick from his work. So I appreciate that. What's up, Lou?
Yo,
Brother, how
what's
you
going
doing?
on, man?
My man, Lou,
Miz,
man.
Miz going live crazy now.
Yeah, let's throw something up in the middle of the day when I know there's downtime and I know people want it. So I know things are blowing up right now with the Giants organization and everybody's passionate and involved. So I like to get people a chance to talk about it. Go ahead, Lou.
So what's the topic? What we talking
Well, today we're talking. A lot of things are coming out about some of the things Joe Judge has said. I know some people don't think it's true, but there are things across the radios and the news that those shots at Washington was shots. Ron Rivera was asked directly. He took the high road. But what do you think is going to happen at 4:15 on Sunday when Ron Rivera and Judge have to come to midfield? And Ron Rivera did sound like he felt Judge did take a shot at his team, but he didn't want to go into it.
Well, I mean, everybody who heard it felt like he took a shot at Washington. And then
Right.
when they were supposed to do the media call, he declined the media call. So
He declined the media call in Washington, which hasn't happened at all, and that also tells you a little something.
yeah. So I mean, I think the Maras knew that this was going to be a losing season. I think that that's what they meant by allowing him to build the team his way. So I think that they weren't expecting for a winning season this year. But on the other hand, they went and spent a lot of money in free agency to try to win this year. So I would expect them to be very upset with the comments he made, because that's one thing the New York Giants does not like to do, is get caught up in the media game and all that stuff. The organization hates that. That was their biggest thing with Odell Beckham.
Right.
So I don't know. He could be gone.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if you're gonna fire the guy, don't bring in some fucking new head coach
Right.
who's never been head coach and
Right.
put us in the same position. If
Right.
you're gonna fire him and we're gonna start a whole nother rebuild, I want a proven head coach, a program builder, somebody who can come in here and turn the ship around.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. In order to let go of Judge, you have already, before Sunday, right now, this week, you have already on the down low had a conversation with a guy like Harbaugh, or this morning ESPN radio was throwing out that there's a chance for a Sean Payton to be brought out of New Orleans and back home to the Giants. So these are big names that build big programs. And if you're going to dismiss Judge, it would have to be for someone like that. It can't be some young guy we're going to give a shot to. No more of that, you know?
Now, if you bring in a Sean Payton or a Jim Harbaugh here, you won't hear not one fucking complaint from me.
Right. I figured
Not
that.
one.
Right. So I'm on the same
But
page.
if you fired Joe Judge and you bring in some rinky-dink positions coach or coordinator and make him a head coach, I'm going to be pissed off, because you're putting us right back in the same position.
Yeah. Right. And what do you which one would you prefer, Lou? If you could get one of those two, let's just per se, for argument's sake. Who does Lou want?
Man, shit. I want Sean Payton if I can get Sean Payton. But
I hear you, man. I
But
hear you.
Jim Harbaugh has a proven track record of building programs. He did it at Stanford. He did it at Michigan. He did it in San Francisco. So,
Right. And if you could, let's just say the Giants got a Harbaugh. Let's just say. Whatever, don't matter which one, but let's just go with Harbaugh. Are you keeping Jones, or do you want Man, there's so many stories out there, man. A lot of them could be smoke, but you know,
Right
Wilson's been
now,
out there, and
with-
today the latest story is that the Giants should try to get Mayfield, which I'm not really a fan of. But
I don't like Baker Mayfield, and I think he's too cocky, and he will bring a cancer into the locker room. I think, in my opinion, this is Daniel Jones' third season that he just finished. So you don't really have to pay him yet. And with the draft capital that we have, I think we should repair this offensive line first and foremost. The defensive line, meaning an edge rusher and another defensive tackle, possibly some linebackers. But I don't think we go get a quarterback right now. I think we build this line. We use Daniel Jones's fourth-year option. And if he still stinks, then next draft class we try to go get a quarterback. But I think we build this line and the trenches first. That way, whoever we do go get and we do go spend a buttload of money on, we can pretty much ensure that we're going to keep them upright and not get them injured and have them be able to do what we brought them here to do.
yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Look, like I said, I always been saying it's kind of unfair what's occurred here for Judge, but at the
Because
same
you got to
time,
build from the trenches.
yeah, definitely. I mean, we've always said that, and I think the whole fan base is now on the same page with that. But like I said, man, he hasn't had a fair chance, and they haven't had a real good roster for him. But at the same time, man, if you're getting me a proven big time coach, I gotta move on to the bigger thing, man, because things have gotten so ugly here, Lou. I mean, we can't keep on going through these 4-win seasons and saying, okay, next year one more draft, next year one more draft. It's getting real tough.
I get it. But if you're going to get a new GM, a new head coach, and you're going to clean house, you're pretty much going to be financially restricted in a lot of ways, especially with all the reconstruction of contracts that we did last year. So You're probably not going to be able to go and get a top-notch quarterback right now. So you build in the trenches, you exercise keeping Daniel Jones for a fourth year so you don't have to spend mega money to pay him, right? And if he doesn't work out, then next season when the salary cap is better, then you can go and get your mega star quarterback, and you've already set him up for success because you've built the line.
Right, or you draft, because I heard there's some real good quarterbacks come out of college next draft. So
Right.
not this one, right? So that's the way to go. That's a good way. We all know realistically we're not winning a Super Bowl next year, so it'll be a building year, which is
Now,
fine.
On the flip side of that, if we fix the O-line and get better, another edge rusher and some linebackers, a few pieces that can put this defense completely over the top, and Daniel Jones blossoms next year, then you don't have to go spend money on a mega quarterback.
Right.
Then you go and get some depth for that O-line, some targets, some receivers, and some depth at that D-line. That way we can set him up for longevity.
Hey man, didn't Harbaugh play a role in Smith as a young quarterback and Kaepernick? So he has some history with young QBs. Maybe
And
he could
Andrew
take
Luck at
Jones
Stanford.
up.
And he coached Andrew Luck at Stanford.
Right. So he could do some work on Jones. He could fix some of the nicks and stuff that are wrong with him, you know. Hey, we see what happens.
If we get Harbaugh in here and Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton worked with Drew Brees for years. So you get either one of them guys in here, they might be able to polish Daniel Jones up on some of the mistakes and fix this O-line and build in the trenches. And we can be looking at a team that could be turned around next year, possibly.
We have weapons, definitely. It's not like the team is like total, you know, we're not the Jaguars, you know, if you want to look at it that way. That's Christopher. That's my boy that grew up with me in Sheepshead, played on a football team with me. We called him Tiki. He always wore the Tiki Barber jersey. What's up, Chris? Yes, Chris, O-line. He's told me that several times also. Ash Money, Andrew Luck. All right. I think we lost Lou. I'm going to bring in Logan and Zion together because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. We got Logan. We got Zion. Oh, wait. You know what? I'm going to bring Lou back on. Let him finish first. What's up, guys? Go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't know
get
what
it.
the hell just happened.
Oh, I lost you. I brought the other two that were waiting on, but go ahead. You finish.
Zion,
The stage is yours, so go ahead. You finish what you were saying.
I said no. He coached Andrew Luck up at Stanford as well. So either one of them guys that you bring up here has good experiences with quarterbacks and coaching them up, and both of them believe in the trenches. So you know,
Yeah, and I forgot
if
too.
you,
He was
if you were
he was a
gonna
coach in
get
San
rid
Diego
of-
too. I forgot about that.
Francisco.
Yeah.
if you were to get rid of Joe Judge and bring in a proven coach or a program builder like Harbaugh in here, you know, either one of those guys have experience with quarterbacks and program building and culture and toughness and grit. So I would not have a complaint with either one of those guys. But I believe if you get one of those guys, they're not going to go out and draft a quarterback right away. I think they're going to see what Daniel Jones has. They're going to try to build in the trenches and then see where they go from there.
I'll tell you one thing,
Love
just for personally for me, I do not these quarterbacks coming draft. I just don't. I'm not high on any of them. To me, they look like backups or 3 to 4 year projects. You know,
the QB class, this draft class,
Yeah,
I'm not
man.
thrilled about them at all.
Let's build the trenches, like you said, defensive end and O-line. I'd like to go all there, maybe add a linebacker. You know, let's go in those areas.
If you guys haven't checked out my mock draft, I just did a mock draft yesterday. Full second-round mock draft. I went heavy O-line. I fixed this team single-handedly in one
Put it
draft.
in there.
I'm better than
From
Ghetto.
Logan,
Go
put
check
Lou's
out my
channel
mock
in there.
draft, G Nation Inside Sports.
Let's get it.
He's got Logan's gonna
I
put it
love
up
it.
for a couple of my guys that are in here that aren't like total full-time YouTubers, but they do pop in. Put it in there so they can get your channels, all three of you. What's up, Lou? You on the way home or what's going on?
And Zion, I added 2 Zions to the Giants.
Zion from Boston College, right?
Let's get it. Zion from
Johnson
Boston
and
College.
Zion Nelson.
Nelson and Johnson. Let's get it. I'm gonna go watch that draft after I'm done here.
I saw that draft the other night right after the stream. I watched it.
Let's get it.
Yeah, that was a good draft.
I got everyone's bell on, so I get notified. But I've been so damn busy yesterday that I didn't even get on YouTube once to even check a video. So today I got a lot of free time. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Not only did I get all them guys in the draft, but I got 3 more picks for next year.
Okay, I want to see how you did that. I love it. Got me more interested now.
Yeah, he moved around stuff. He made trades. Yeah.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
This is the worst thing that happened. Someone showed me, Zion showed me how to do my own streams. Now,
No, I was doing things
That's
around the
a
house.
great
And I looked on my phone. I'm like, yo, this guy's live again. But I go check this guy out.
no, a lot of
He's
stuff
doing big
to talk
things.
about, man. Even though the game don't mean much to us, there's going to be a lot of things going on after this game. So, you know.
Next
This
time you
game
go
means a lot
Kim
more
show,
than
you
people
gotta
think.
you gotta tell
This
Kim to
game
come on
means a
your
lot more than
podcast.
people think, especially with that jab and all that back and forth in the comments. In the conference the other day with the punching people on the sideline comment and this ain't a clown show comment. Rivera ain't gonna say nothing. Ron Rivera played in the 85
Old
Bears.
school.
He's not gonna say nothing in the media. He's gonna talk shit to his team and have them ready to go, and they're gonna come out there and try to punch us in the face for 60 minutes. And if the Giants don't come out there on the field and respond the same way, that might be the reason Joe Judge gets fired at the end of the season right there.
Which we will not, because Joe Judge is a coward.
We're going to find out.
We will find
We'll
out.
see.
We're going to find out because
You can't go talk. You can't go talking all Timmy Tough nuts, and you ain't got no winning record.
that's what I was saying. Like, you have guys, Pat and Joel are very big on wanting to see Judge continue his process. I totally get that. And
I would
I'm
like
old
him to
school.
too, but I mean, if you're telling me that I get to pick between him getting another season and us missing the opportunity to hire Jim Harbaugh, then no, fuck him getting another season. I want Harbaugh.
Right.
And that's just me being honest. That's just me being a selfish New York Giants fan.
That's facts.
Hey, those are two names. J Lane 90. I'm not sure. I know you
But
that well.
if we get a
Subscribe,
new
hit up my
GM
button.
and
Those are
he
two
brings
big
his
names
buddy
right
in
there.
here who's some unproven, never been head coach guy before,
Yeah, then it's
I'm
like
gonna
might as
be
well just
fucking
keep
pissed
him.
off.
Yeah, I'm with Lou. Like it has to be a proven veteran. I'm not gonna repeat what he just said,
Lay
but
was good.
if you look at people like a Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and that was actually San Diego College. It was like never mind. I was like San Diego. I seen it on his coach, and after he was the quarterback's coach in Oakland, he went to San Diego for a little bit, and then taking the job at Stanford as the head coach. But you have a guy that played obviously, and that's been around in multiple organizations and multiple leagues. If you think about the NCAA, and then now the NFL and back and forth, you know what I'm saying? So you're bringing in someone with experience. I believe that what we don't want as Giants fans is like, why would we bring in a head coach to see if you can do a better job if you have no experience? Might as well just keep Joe Judge and give him another shot, because people say he had an unfair shot, and there is some truth to that. You know what I'm saying? That COVID year 2021 Giants was absolutely dog shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring in someone with a 0-0 record to see, okay, maybe you can try now. Nah, might as well just keep Joe Judge, because there is a culture there. There is a foundation there. Now, if you bring in someone like a Sean Payton, obviously he trumps it. He's gonna bring in his own philosophies. He has a winning culture that he's gonna bring in too. So I'm 100% right with Lou. That was a tongue twister. Let's get it.
Homie said, "Let's get it again."
I think Judge was a no doubter. No matter what happened this season, was coming back next year. But I think in the last 2 weeks, his mouth might have him in some trouble. To be honest, he's doing it to himself without realizing it, or maybe he's doing it to himself on
Well,
purpose.
no, see, and this is why us New York fans are a bit crazy, right? Because we all get mad about his
robot tone
scripted press conferences after the game. I got to go back and look at the tape. He doesn't show no emotion. He sticks to that format, right? I got to go back and look at the tape. We weren't good enough right there, and we got to do better than that right there. And I got to go look at the tape before I say any outlying statements about any of that right there, right? He sticks to that. So everybody gets mad. Oh, he says the same shit all the time, and he doesn't come out there with no passion, and he doesn't make any adjustments. And so then he comes out in the press conference and he says, let me tell you something. You don't got the same stuff going on out here that you had in the past. You don't see guys golf clubs in front of their locker. You don't see these guys planning their vacations out there. You don't see none of that crap out here anymore. You don't see us fighting each other on the sidelines. This is not some clown show that we got going on here, right? The minute he says that and gives everybody what they've been asking him for, not say, let me go look at the tape, show us some fire, show us some passion. He does it, and now it's, he's desperate. He knows he's going to get fired. He's taking shots at Washington. The media be setting him up. They be setting people up, and he fell for it. So now he's got to be Timmy Toughnuts.
Right.
Or Billy Badass.
So he finally shows some emotion, and people are turning it against him.
Crucify you for it.
Yeah. Especially the media in New York, I can tell you that.
That's the Giants fan base. We killed Eli Manning. We hated Eli Manning. Oh, fire him. He sucks. He looks dumbfounded. He looks lost. He throws interceptions. He took us to the NFC Championship. We about to go to the Super Bowl. We love Eli Manning. The New York Giants fan base is a bunch of schizophrenics.
For me, I was one of those fans that wanted to see emotion all season, right? Wanted to see something, and then I guess for me, it's just like, it's too late, bro. Like, why do you wait till the final? Like, I get it, the media broke him in a sense because he got so irritated that he kind of just broke. But at the end of the day, it's based on what he said. Like, that got me kind of not even triggered, because you can miss me with that. Like it doesn't affect me personally. Like what I would say is like, yeah, I was one of those fans that like, come on, just show something, like get frustrated with the team or get frustrated at something, Judge. And then the whole season, it was all the way down into the final week of the season. Well, the second to the final week of the season. And for me, I was happy that he did it. I'm like, finally we get something. But then the whole
he even cursed.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you gotta get these guys to think. You gotta change the way they think. You gotta get them to fucking buy into what you believe.
Yes. I was having so much fun watching it. I'm like, finally. And then just some of the stuff said, who cares? Who cares what I say? Obviously, because I have nothing to do with that organization and the way they're running it, right? So for me, like, I was kind of like, God damn, why did you have to say that? But at the end of the day, I understand it because it needed to get said in his defense in a sense of he broke under that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Was that him talking to the media or was he talking to the New York Giants?
I think that was a little bit of
because
both,
now
honestly.
He wrote a check that the Giants are going to have to cash. So was that a methodical ploy to challenge your team?
Because that might have been because he said something about like, trust me, we're gonna play it. I'm gonna make sure that this final game and the final 60 minutes, we're gonna put the best football. And he said something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna go down fighting. I mean, he's not gonna go down not fighting. Sorry.
So if we're gonna play our best football of the season, that means we're gonna pass the 50-yard line twice.
I just, it's
Yo, Logan, that's fucked up, Logan. Keep the gloves above the belt. Damn.
It's one of those scenarios where you're happy for him because he's finally getting aggressive, but then he says some shit where like, damn, you gotta diss the whole regime like that. Damn, you gotta it's like Eminem, right? When Eminem, sorry to compare it to music, that's what I know the best. When Eminem made that diss against MGK, he had to drag Rihanna's name into it. He had to drag Iggy's into it. It's kind of like that's why my point is not valid because who did the Giants care who I am? I'm just a fan. But that's what I'm saying is like he broke to the point where he didn't give a fuck what he was saying at the end of the point. He just had to say what had to be said. You know what I'm saying? He don't care who he was throwing under the bus. He don't care if it was Juan Rivera, if it was Pat Sherman. Obviously, the NFL is business, and these guys talk. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, the media broke him, and he sweared. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, let me take that back. I apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? So mixed emotions on that press conference for sure on my side. Because we finally get it, but we get it in a broken moment. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't doing Brooklyn Baruch. I think you knew I haven't seen you in the stream before.
But I gotta hop off here, guys. I gotta get back to it.
All right, Lou.
Thanks for having me.
Hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Brooklyn Baruch. Nice to have you in the Big Blue Crew. Football chats all the time, all of us. Guys, throw your things in there. Subscribe up to these guys. Subscribe to me. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. We'll see what happens Sunday night. Gonna be a big night for the Giants' future. I'm pretty sure Mara Tisher in the stadium Sunday, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a meeting. And I'm pretty sure Mara has had some type of conversation with Harbaugh already. Because you want to have an understanding if the guy actually wants to come here before you make a move on Judge. Another guy that was thrown out this morning, like I said, Sean Payton. These are big names, big-time coaches.
Yeah.
And the Giants have had success in the history when they have big-time coaches. And with the mess we're in right now, you're going to need a big-time guy to take us out of this disaster. So I don't think Judges could do it. Yeah, unless you're going to give him another 5 or 6 years, man. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. I think the Giants got to go outside the box. I understand that Judge is trying to build a quote-unquote culture, and I know some people like that, but I'd rather have an actual qualified head coach that has done it many times before to come in here and build his own philosophy and culture than a guy who's never done anything in his whole career.
Well, I don't understand when people talking about culture, man. We are one of the worst teams in football.
It's the culture conversation because of the fact that if they're comparing it to, well, I don't want to speak for them. What I think is they're comparing it to if it was to bring in another 0-0. If we're bringing another coach that's 0-0, just stop, because that is really going to be resetting the landscape. But if we bring in someone with an experienced record, like a Jim Harbaugh, like a Sean Payton, like a Leslie Frazier, like
Kevin
a
James.
Kevin James, you know what I'm saying? Like at first I thought that's the actor Logan. Like, like
I
stop
got
it.
I got it.
Like you know, someone with experience and not a 0-0 football record and as coaching in the NFL, then that's where I believe that those people that want him back would not want him back, you know. But if you bring in someone with a 0-0 record in the NFL and try to build his culture and then just start him fresh again like that, then it's kind of like, then why would we blow up Joe Judge? Like, yeah, we get it. It didn't work for the past 2 years, but honestly, did he have a fair 2 years? And I think that's where that comes in.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So if I ask you both, each one of you, you know, Logan first, then Zion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do Sunday night? You're at the table with Mara. You're Tish. What are you doing? What's your give me what your process is going to be? What are you doing?
I'm telling Mara to get his head out of his you-know-what and fire Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman.
Well, forget Gettleman. Gettleman's retiring. It's already known. So he's walking away. Getting a new GM, probably from outside. What are you doing with the head coach?
You know me. I thought about it for a while. I originally wanted to keep Judge, but after looking back at some of the things he's done, and especially after that press conference, I think we got to get rid of Joe Judge. We got to bring in a proven head coach who's done it many times before, whether that be with a college team or an NFL team. Obviously, Harbaugh's been with both. And yeah, man, we gotta. I don't think Joe Judge. I think he's in over his head, if I'm being honest with you. But I'll let Zion take over.
I don't know if this is legal and if you can do this, but what I would do is I would tell John that I'm like, hey John, I've been in Hollywood this whole time, but I've been watching and calling. Now I'll just tell him, like, basically we're gonna vet the GM together. Obviously you're gonna get your input from Titch, input from Mara. And then about head coach, I will let Judge Joe know that, hey, we're gonna be. I don't know if you can do this, but I will honestly go to Judge and tell him we're gonna be interviewing candidates. I'll tell him, don't go anywhere. We're just gonna be interviewing candidates. We're gonna be talking with the GM and say we get the GM in here, and then we'll still interview coaching candidates, just
Right.
to kind of show Judge that, hey, we want you, but you're not, you know, you're exposable. You know what I'm saying, in a sense, and kind of just I want to see Judge's reaction to that. You know what I'm saying, So tell them, like, we're going to be interviewing coaching candidates and then we're going to make our decision at the end. You know what I'm saying? So kind of have him, obviously they do an end of the year report. Obviously, you know, he has his end of the year interviews with them, but interview him again for a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like
See, you can't do that.
you can't do that.
Yo,
but
what's up?
but you can't re-interview him again. Like, that's illegal, right?
No, it's just
that's
that's not how things work in America. It's not. Once you tell the judge that I'm going to talk to other coaches, and then we're going to let you know if you're staying, Judge.
Not in the
Yes,
sense of not, but he has
Yeah,
to.
any audacity, bro. He's quitting. He's walking away.
What I was saying, in a sense of, Joe, I want to see what things you would do different, and like what things these coaches would do different. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's up, man?
Because in a sense, if
Okay.
I'm looking at his overall, can we judge his performance
No.
over the last 2 years, right?
Zion,
Yes.
are you firing Judge Sunday night, and you're going to take your chances going after Harbaugh or Sean Payton, or are you not? Or are you staying with Judge? The decision is going to be made Sunday night or Monday. It's not going to be you hold on the side while we talk to others. That's never happening.
No. I understand that.
You got to make
No,
the
it's just
tough decision,
hypothetical.
a hard decision, but that's why it's Mara and Tish. They got to make the decision.
Well, if that comes down to, and you have coaches like Harbaugh's name popping up, you have coaches like Sean Payton's name coming up with the New York Giants. You know, all based on what GM they bring in. But if you ask me right now, Judge is fired.
That's why I was waiting to hear what you feel.
Yeah, Judge is definitely fired. Judge is
It's
fired.
fine.
I was-
Zion goes off
Go
on
on,
rants that
Slay.
don't ever
yeah, I
end.
go off on man to try to make my own rules. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Miz,
you know,
Miz, y'all should keep
Yeah.
y'all should keep Mara. Y'all should keep Gettleman. Y'all should
You
keep.
can't get rid of Merritt. He's the owner, dumbass.
I mean, you can
yeah,
Steve
you
Tisch.
can. Yes, you know, he has the majority of the shares, bro. He's the
Yeah, but
he's-
y'all should keep him. Y'all should keep everyone.
of course we'll keep.
Y'all should keep Ingram. Y'all should keep everybody.
BPS. I
Slay,
think you need to
just
stay off the bottle and shut
stop.
up.
Y'all should need to keep O'Shane Zimenez as well too.
Y'all need to re-sign Derek Barnett to a 7-year contract.
All I have to say, Slay, is good luck.
Yeah.
Because no matter who you guys play in the playoffs, it's gonna be a tough out.
Yep. We made it. Y'all didn't.
So unless you guys win the Super Bowl this year, guess what? No matter where you guys finish in the playoffs, we're just going to equal again because we both didn't win the Super Bowl, right?
I'm telling you right now, me and Miz are gonna go back and forth the entire offseason. I can tell as soon as the Giants get something and we get something, it's just gonna be headbutting between Eagles and Giants, man.
Pause.
Oh, you know what I'm saying though.
I don't say nothing. I don't even get involved in these streams lately where they're all fighting with each other. In case you noticed, I'm calm as a turtle.
I've been, bro. I haven't been on anyone's stream recently because every time I go on YouTube, it looks like people are trying to throw hands.
That's fine, man. They want to go at it, but guess what? At the end of the day, we're not making the decision. The decision will be made this week, and whatever decision it is, we're gonna back up our team. So we don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to ask you, man. So, like, obviously, they can't go and put Judge in a holding and be like, "Hold on, you're on hold," and interview candidates. That's rude. But don't they vet him, right? And he has to probably win that, right? He has to win that conversation, right? On why should we keep you around?
They might sit down with him Sunday night,
right?
and
do you think,
Judge,
as
we
a
like
fan,
you. We like you. We know we haven't given you enough time. Why should we keep you? And what is your plan? You know,
as a fan, are you scared that he's gonna convince them?
I'm not scared, man. If they go with him, then they believe in
Yeah,
him. And
well,
then
maybe
we go
scared
with
is
him.
the wrong word.
I don't
but,
think he's terrible. Like
I don't
some
think he's
people.
terrible too. I'm so done of the obviously he was a new hire not that long ago, but like what Logan said, and what we all talk about, like just outside the organization, you know what I'm saying? I hope it just doesn't get too comfortable with, you know, let's just promote Kevin because Kevin worked well with Judge and Gettleman, and Kevin's gonna be the new GM, and it's just gonna be another inside the organization hire and stuff like that. That's mainly why I use the word scared of Jim just feeling like this year is maybe we're blowing it up too soon. Maybe we should just keep him around and promote Kevin and you know what I'm saying, just that kind of stuff.
A hard decision, man. But here's the bottom
It
line.
is.
How many more years do we want to watch this shit? Because this has been garbage. How many more years do you want to say your season's over before Halloween, bro?
Not that long.
The bottom line is we don't work for the organization, so I could give a damn less how much money a guy's making or who they're bringing in,
true.
or if they're hurting Judge's feelings. I don't care. The bottom line is Mara owes this fan base a good product. We haven't been good in years. We're definitely not Giants football standard, that's for sure.
That's facts.
As a fan, you want to get up every week and be excited and emotional, and you want to play a meaningful game in late December. And I'm not talking about last year when we had 5 or 6 wins. That's not it either.
The entire division was bad last year. Who would be happy with that?
Zeke is backstage, Miz.
Who?
Zeke.
I don't see him.
Yeah, he's not there. I don't think he left.
Oh, whatever.
You gotta, at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters, man.
Winning.
Giants gotta build the team back up to winning again. And it's not about hurting a coach's feelings. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, man, but we're 10-24 in 2 seasons.
So I've got a question for Miz and just Zion. Now, let's say you guys build up O-line for Jones, right? Let's say you build up an O-line for Jones, and you get a new head coach, you fire Judge this offseason, right? If Jones doesn't do well with a good offensive line, what do you do with him? Do you just get rid of him, cut him, trade
What
him?
kind of a question is that?
I'm just asking them, not you.
I mean, he's on his last year next year, so it's pretty much self
That answers
already
itself.
written, bro. It's written. Yeah, he don't do good next year.
Yeah.
He's gone. They're not gonna
There
pay
you go.
him. They're not giving him a 4-year, $100 million contract. Let's get serious.
He is in a
I
he's
mean,
in a
I just
situation
don't
to
know.
fight to get paid.
Remember,
why would you-
hey, in 2023 draft, there's a nice class of quarterbacks coming out,
CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Yeah.
and that's where the Giants will go. So they'd be using Jones for 1 more year as a sort of stopgap while they build up a team, because right now it's not a team that's ready to win. So you might as well go another year with the guy while you build up both lines. You know,
All right, so let's say you keep Judge then, right? What is the circumstances for him to do well in to keep him next year? Like, what does he have to do for you guys to keep him for another 5 years? What is he?
I mean, you gotta have a direction, man. This year's direction was down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really don't even have a true answer for that. That's a complicated.
That is a complicated one.
It's definitely going to be unfair to judge. I can tell you that.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has
Well,
to do good with
for us to keep him around, what I would like to see honestly is obviously we clean up our penalties, right? We don't get penalized as much. We have players that's in position and not out of position, right? So there's more fucking slaughtered that word, never mind. But the team is just more discipline. There you go. Discipline's a good word. The team's just more discipline, less penalties, right? We also see the building, and it doesn't have to come from zero to the best, but we have to see some progress, some effort to fix the offensive line. Whether it means drafting 5 O-line in the draft, just something. We have to see some effort towards the offensive line and towards the positions that we need the most help at, the edge rushers, linebackers, so on and so forth. I also and if we put that together, we put the discipline together, we put the team together, then he can go out there and he can prove to why we should keep them, right? So if he goes and he gets his team, he builds his O-line, he builds, he applies more discipline, and people get less penalties, then maybe he might go out and get an 8 or 9 win season.
You might be able to cross the 50-yard line.
Exactly. If we see progress, next year, progress from opening kickoff. What we talked about Washington football team, right? Washington football team lost their quarterback early on in the season, right? They lost a lot of other people. You look at any other NFL team. Look at the Titans. Look what they had to go through this season. And look at what they overcome. Right? We seen experience in coaches like a Rivera, experience in coaches like Tennessee's coach. My bad, I can't think of his name right now. Mike Vrabel. Yeah, we see experience as coaches overcome that, right?
And
every time there's adversity, we shrink, we crawl up in the ball, and then the next game it hits us again, and then we're out half our damn roster, and then the team looks like it's lost. It's really not lost. It's just a big cluster F. You know what I'm saying? I want Joe Judge to be able to show that he can build the team that no matter what is coming at him, they can overcome and they can still look compatible no matter who they're going up against. We've seen the 2021 Giants fold under pressure multiple times, and maybe not fold to the point where they're not trying. They're still trying on every down, but fold to the point where we're losing by over 21 points at times. You know what I'm saying?
Or jumping off sides on a field goal.
Exactly. The only way Joe Judge is here and keeping his team for that long span that you said, a 5-year kind of term, is if he shows us that kind of improvement as the next year, because his narrative right now in the media and the fan base, it's already a nasty narrative. Daniel Jones, for instance, came in with a nasty narrative. It's gonna be a lot for him to overcome that narrative, right? It's gonna be a lot for Joe Judge to overcome this narrative. Can he? Absolutely. But I think it takes on what the things I just talked to you about to really take this team where it needs to be. Now, we don't need to have a winning season necessarily next year, but he needs to show us that his that we're putting up good football, disciplined football, and we're playing more like a team, and we can overcome adversity and not shrink in the face of it.
Welcome to
Another-
Zion's high rant.
Another one is what's it called? John Harbaugh for the Ravens. For Zion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's another proven coach.
I mean, that's a good. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I really would love. I would be so ecstatic if we signed Harbaugh.
Yeah, he's a good coach. One of the coaches I'm really thinking about is who's the coach for the Tennessee Titans? No, it's not. Who's the coach for the Colts?
Frank Reich.
Frank White.
Frank Reich.
Look at the coach this season, bro. Look how they started this season, bro.
0-3.
0-3.
You can also say our head coach. I mean, I don't want to brag, but like,
Oh no. I'm gonna just say Frank White for this one because Frank White, they started 0-3 and then they just clicked something and then he just got his team going and then Taylor was just breaking records and then they were just running after win after win after win after win, and obviously you can say the same thing for the Eagles, Slay, but with the coach it looked a little bit more smoother. Yours is a first year head coach.
I like
it's
that.
kind of rocky away. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's good. You guys are making the playoffs and congratulations. But if you look how Frank White looked at his team and there was 0-3 and said, no, guys, this is not it. What do we want to get to? We want to get to the top of the mountain. We want to get to Mount Everest, whatever he calls it and shit like that. You know, the whole Super Bowl plan. We want to get there. And there's a beautiful documentary that I'm only on episode 2 in. But the coach, the Hard Knocks coach in season Hard Knocks, it's beautiful to watch, and it's on HBO, and you guys should check it out. Like that's a coach that is in fully control of his team, and it doesn't matter if his team's 0-3. That's a coach that can clearly look at all the adversities they're facing, overcome it, and put his team right back to where his team needs to be.
Right.
Miz about to have the bias slate thing.
What happened?
Miz about to have the bias slate thing soon.
Nah, I don't do the goodbye. I gave Bobby the stage the other night for an hour and a half. You saw.
Yeah, that's funny. I was watching that. That had me dying.
I'm not like that, bro. I don't mind people calling. My friend might call next week. He's a big Cowboys fan. He lives in my area over here. I've known him for 20 years. Let him talk a little playoffs about the Cowboys. My other friend, Hakeem, big friend for 20 years. We grew up football teams together. He's a diehard Eagle fan. You know, he's like 32, 33 years old. He's going to call up and talk about the Eagles. We're going to do some playoff talk next week. Maybe get away from the Giants for a minute.
Let's get
Like,
You know, so, Buko said he's going to call in. He never does. He's always in the chats. He's going to call in and talk about the draft. He's very, very big, smart guy about these college kids coming out of the draft. He wants to do the Jets and Giants with those 4 picks in the top 10. So I hope to have different types of people that we don't usually have. I like to jump in the middle of the day. Right now I have the time in the day. I probably go back to work in 2 weeks, but I'm done by like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'd like to jump on that time because those are times when usually it's down and nobody's on. So I like to have some football talk, in the afternoon,
I love it.
Midday with Miz or whatever. I don't care. I enjoy this, man. I'm not doing it for any fame. I'm not trying to be no entertainer or anything. And we got people that want to talk football. So believe me, Monday's going to be an interesting day. There's going to be coaches fired in this league, so.
Yep, it always happens.
More Black Monday.
Yep, Black Monday.
yeah.
But
Who's getting fired? Who's some of the coaches you see getting fired? I mean, Matt
Nick
Nagy.
Sirianni.
No
there's
way.
a chance that the Denver coach could be fired.
Vic Fangio. Yeah. Matt Nagy 100% is going to be fired. There's no way he's going to come back with the Bears.
I don't know why, because the Bears the last 2 weeks have been playing some hard-nosed football.
Yeah.
Yes, but like it's not him. He just
It's kind of hard. I'm not trying to be mean because he roasted us, but it's kind of hard, man, when you have Andy Dalton. You know what I'm saying? I get it, they have Fields too, but at the end of the day, it's like that's what I hate. It's like Matt Nagy has his team set up, for future seasons with the Justin Fields pick, and then he's not gonna be there to see it out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
It
sorry,
always happens in the NFL.
I get what
It's the NFL. That's just how it works. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what you're saying, but for Bears fans' perspective, they're kind of like you guys, how they feel. That team is usually, other than the last decade, they were always in the playoffs. That's
It's
one
a
of the
historical franchise, absolutely.
yeah, one of those historical franchises. So when they get like bad reputation with a guy like Nagy, a terrible offense, their defense is balling the hell out, and then you have a guy like Nagy calling terrible offensive plays. Those guys are going to be screaming at his neck.
The Bears are they're nowhere near as historical as the Giants. Them boys have one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Bears got one Super Bowl in '85. They are a historic franchise, but they have not.
Could you guys see Mike Zimmer, Pete Carroll leaving their respected teams?
Pete Carroll and Russ is gone. Seattle's done for the next decade.
How about a Mike Zimmer?
Carroll? Listen, if they're gonna trade Russell Wilson, you might as well keep Carroll and let him rebuild the team. No,
I got an idea for you guys.
I think Pete Carroll is an awesome coach. I
got
know
a-
a lot of people have mixed feelings about him because of the USC days, but I think like he's a good football coach.
I got an idea for you guys. How about you guys? Look, this is what I
you
would.
get that, Logan.
Yeah, I
You
got
guys
it.
should do.
Thank you, bro.
This is what you guys should do.
yo,
You
Z,
guys-
Ash got an answer for you.
Yeah, but you guys,
Pete Carroll is a good head coach.
if you guys get Mike Zimmer, then honestly,
I like his energy, Ash.
yeah, Mike Zimmer. If you guys
I like
get him,
I like
you get a stopgap guy. So Mike Zimmer, he'll
He said it was
have Jones for a year. He'll have Jones for a year, right? He'll have Jones for a year, and then you have the rest of the future for you to get your franchise quarterback. If Jones is a stopgap guy, you could just get your franchise quarterback the year after, and then see what Zimmer does with a guy like C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. You build an offensive line around them guys. This
Offensive line.
offensive line, and you have something for the future.
Yo, Ash, it's hard for me to sit here and say that Carroll's not a good coach when he went to back-to-back Super Bowls. I get it. That team had a lot of talent, and Wilson's a beast. I totally get it. Lynch was a beast. I get it. But he still has to manage that team and those egos.
Mhm.
You know?
There was a lot of egos on that Legion of Doom that he had to manage as a head coach too. And I get it. He said himself that he wouldn't be anything without Wilson. I just think that's him being super humble.
But remember, Miz, Daniel Jones has a higher ceiling than Russell Wilson. You got to get it right, bro.
Daniel Jones is a nice guy. I'll leave it at that. I don't know what else to say, man. I don't. If you want to continue giving guys chances because they're nice, educated, very, very nice person, he has a good heart. But we're never gonna fucking win that way, and I'm getting sick and tired of it. So,
Facts.
Y'all should get Russell Wilson. Don't get an offensive line. Don't sign an offensive line player.
Slay, this is supposed to be a serious podcast.
And then if you get Russell Wilson, just make him struggle in the backfield by himself, getting torched by defensive linemen every play.
BPS, stop.
the Giants are gonna get offensive line this draft. We all know that. So.
Please don't.
Well, imagine if you got a Harbaugh in here and you brought in Russell Wilson. Guess what, Slay? The Giants will run this division
That's crazy.
next year and for a while, and you know it.
That's if.
I'm just saying, if Mara's capable of it, man, and he's sick and tired of this shit. So, I mean, that's what I would do. I would say, yo, screw the Judge and Jones. That's nice. We gave it a try. Screw that. I'm going after the big time fish. I'm ready to go win another Lombardi in the next 2-3 years.
Breaking news: Ashton Griffith has said he can taste Deshaun Watson.
Hey, Miz.
So, what? Eagles are going to.
Hey, that's if. I mean, look at this. The past couple of off seasons. I mean, our GM loves this guy, Deshaun Watson. He loves him so much to the point where he would trade 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Oh my! We would trade 3 first-round picks for a guy like Watson. I love Watson, man. He's so
not doing that.
I think Watson could be great. Of course, he could take a Giants to the playoffs with 10 wins next year instantly. But I can't give up 3 1s for him. I just can't.
Yeah, that's too much. That's a little.
And what's going on with his? It's a bullshit case. I've already been. You've heard me say this before. I'm on the record as saying that all this shit that he's going through is bullshit. All right.
I agree.
They're taking him for a ride for his money. These women, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Still, until it's settled, right?
It's in March. It's in March. They're settling it.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. They're trying to settle it in March. So
I got a feeling Watson ends up a Dolphin. My gut feeling.
I agree with
Dolphin.
that one. Honestly, I could see him in it. I mean, honestly, he was supposed to get traded to the Dolphins. There was an agreement to that, and then
Sean Payton stays and he becomes a Saint. That'd be
He said,
crazy.
he said I can taste it.
yeah, Deshaun Watson is so good. Like these women, just
That's what it is.
yeah.
Yo, the last few nights, Ash Money been providing some entertainment against Joel. I find it
Ash
real
Money,
funny.
baby. Ash Money.
Ash Money. I want you to go back to Ash Money. To me, that's the better name.
We were having this debate about
Wait, hold up. Ashton Griffin is Ash Money?
Yes.
Wait, I thought that was a different name.
You didn't know that?
you didn't know that.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's Ash and Joe and us. Well, me, Ash, Joe, and the rest were having debates about basketball topics yesterday because Joe said, I think Ash said it actually.
I was listening.
LeBron isn't like he's the best player of all time. That's what he was saying, or it's a debate or something
That's
like
the
that.
thing about that's the
such
thing.
a
Let me just
disrespect
say
to
this.
Michael Jordan, bro.
Let me just say this.
I probably misquoted.
I understand that, Miz. I understand that statement right there. But here's the thing: you top fives, man. We have to look at it and like.
I don't agree with their top five last night. I don't agree with it.
It's always gonna change because
Bro,
generations.
LeBron James is going down as second or third greatest ever.
I misquoted it. I think Ash. I think I misquoted it. Can you repeat it for what you said, Ash, last night?
Michael Jordan is Miz. What's your number one? Michael Jordan.
Michael
Miz,
Jordan's
what's your
number
top
one,
five?
right, bro? It's not. I watched him play his whole career, so I'm not just telling you that because I heard he was great.
Oh no, absolutely. I
Michael
believe
Jordan
you.
is the greatest ever, and it's not a disrespect to LeBron at all.
And my top three is Jordan, Kobe, and
Kobe's just unspoken, bro.
it's either
Like,
LeBron
yeah.
or Bill Russell.
Kobe is someone like we just. Kobe's someone.
BPS, if you're gonna say what the fuck, grow some testicles before you.
Bill Russell is better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Are you seriously kidding me?
BPS, stop talking.
From what I watched, Kobe's the closest thing. Now, when I say this, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's the second best player in the history of basketball. He's the closest thing. Like he looked and played with the same style as Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe's in
He's
his
an
own.
absolute
That's
killer.
why. That's why for me, I just put Kobe in his own. Like Kobe's not on any list, but Kobe's list.
Logan, you
Michael
actually
Michael
think
Jordan is obviously, the best player. But I can't sit here and I can't say I have to defend LeBron when it comes to that organization. That word as the best because of the fact that LeBron proved to have his name up in that debate. Not gonna give him that just yet. We have to wait till he's done because Michael Jordan is the greatest player who ever played. But LeBron did put himself in that debate. He did put himself there. But
now, Logan,
top five changed a lot.
I want to understand something, Logan. Did you just say Bill Russell is better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
This is America. I'm allowed to have my own opinion, bro.
So you really think that? Explain to me why. I just want to hear this.
Because I'm allowed to have my own opinion.
Just give me some facts.
If you want to call in, Brooklyn, you could call in. It seems like we have the exact same opinions. You could call in and talk also. I'll put you right in. I know you're new to this, but I'll tell you right now, man. You can make a case, especially if LeBron could try to go win one more, that he could go down as the second greatest ever.
Kobe is the greatest. Is the second.
No, he's not. He's not
I'm
better.
saying you can make a case. You can make a case.
You can make a case, but he's not better than LeBron.
Yeah,
And that's from me as a Lakers.
No, I said you can make a case. LeBron could go down the second greatest ever.
That is
BPS is a LeBron central.
I'm a Lakers fan, not no damn.
He's great. And listen, man, for those who say LeBron wouldn't be able to play back in the day because it was so physical, he got beat up, you're wrong. Because he's got the body that he would have adjusted and played just the way they played. And he would have been a tougher mentally because that's just the way the era was. But on the other side, if Michael Jordan was playing in this league today, he would be averaging about 40, 41 points a game.
Yo,
That's a fact, man.
I'm
Maybe-
telling you right now. You want to know a
maybe
guy?
39 at worst.
But here's
Maybe.
the thing. Here's the thing. That's why I like to say it's debatable because LeBron can go out there and hit 50 every single night if he wanted to. If he wanted to, he could clearly go. But when it comes down to his assist numbers, all of his, he doesn't play defense. He's been in the league. He ran the damn league for 20 years now. But out of that 20, his last 10, he didn't want to play defense no more. You know what I'm saying? So LeBron has the ability to do that, but that's why it's just so hard because what Jordan means to basketball is, I mean, like that is the be all end all. That's Michael Jordan we're talking about here, and what he meant to the game of basketball and what he still means to the game of basketball today, right? But then you go look at a career like a LeBron James, and what did he mean, and how much fans did he get to the game, and how did he transcend the sport? Because as much as Michael Jordan transcended the sport of basketball, LeBron James did the exact same thing. Like when you look at an athlete like LeBron James, he just sits differently, right? He's a Tom Brady, he's a Serena Williams, he's that kind of athlete, right? And when you put yourself at that kind of level, you are welcome to be a part of the debate of, are you the best of all time? So let's just congratulate LeBron for even getting himself there, and look what the guy is still doing till this day. You know,
I mean, as a Lakers fan, I see it myself. He literally carries the Lakers right now. He literally every game.
He won us 2 championships in Miami, and I don't want to feel like I'm indebted to LeBron for winning us those 2 champions. Obviously, Ray Allen helped, Bosh helped, Wade helped a lot. It was a team effort, right? But the thing is, what he got my respect is what he did to the Golden State Warriors. When he totally took the Cavaliers, and don't tell me that that center, I forget his name, Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving off and on the court, and it wasn't the J.R. Smith. It just wasn't. That wasn't a team that was built to win anything. And then LeBron came and then repeatedly took that team to the finals over and over again. Like, for me, that was like a what the F moment. Like, this guy is for real. Like, I always respected him, obviously, after his time in Miami. But when he went back to Cleveland and what he did with Cleveland, and then turn around and do it with the Lakers, and people were like, well, yeah, dude, he got AD. You know what I'm saying?
AD's always hurt.
He got AD. But the thing is, he's shown that he could do it with AD on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? He's shown that he could get shooters like a Kyle Kuzma, like a Brandon Ingram to start elevating their game. He whatever team he's on, everyone around him is elevated. We talk about good quarterbacks coming to a good football team. That's what LeBron did for every single team he's been on. And that's why his name's up for that debate.
But, like, I hate when people say LeBron James doesn't play defense. I mean,
He doesn't.
Okay, so right now, just based off the last 3 years. Hold on. Based off the last 3 to 4 years, or maybe 2 years, 5 years, I can give you that. But he actually does play defense. If you actually get a good look.
No. There's a difference of playing defense and playing defense. We have players around this league, Slade, that you watch basketball.
You gotta
that don't stop playing from whistle to whistle. You see so much times in games where LeBron is walking and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just go sit down on the side for a little bit, lean against this post, and watch for a good. And I don't blame him. The guy's old. The guy's old for basketball. You know what I'm saying?
There's also times where LeBron is on the court,
but that's
from side to side, telling players what.
That's why you're misunderstanding me.
Zion, he's a LeBron sexual. You're never.
LeBron. What Miz said when Jordan come in and drop 40 anytime. That's absolutely correct. LeBron could turn up, right? LeBron could turn up at any given moment, play his heart out, play defense, drop buckets, easily take over the game. I'm not saying he can't. He obviously does that, Slay. But you can't sit here and tell me that LeBron plays defense.
I'm not saying that.
I mean, like, we have other players on the real on the league that really fucking play defense, bro.
Zion, what I'm saying is you have to closely look and zoom into what he's saying on the court. He actually tells what the other players should do and what positions that they should be in. I mean,
That's
that's
his
for
job.
I mean,
Absolutely.
he has
Absolutely.
to, he
Slay,
has
slay,
to put the input in. Like he has to literally put the input in. He can't
slay.
literally go
Go look
every
at
play
go
on
look at
defense.
LeBron. Go look at LeBron when he first came out, and look at his look how he played when on his come up. Look at his come up, and then look at him now. I get what you're saying, Slay. I totally understand you. And Ash is a huge LeBron supporter, and Ash will tell you that LeBron hardly plays defense. He plays defense. Don't get me wrong. He plays defense, but at his age, he's allowed to play half ass and still get away with being one of the best. That's
You
how
wanna
good
know-
LeBron is. He can
you want-
play half ass and still put numbers up, bro.
You want to know a guy that wouldn't make it in the league back in the day? Steph Curry would get assaulted back in the 90s.
And a lot of people don't like it's easy for you to say that, Logan, but just forget how fast Steph Curry actually is.
Dude, Patrick Ewing would slap him in the face with his nuts. I don't want to hear about it.
No, he would not, bro.
You're crazy,
like
You're
obviously that's illegal. Secondly, like they wouldn't let that happen. Thirdly, like are you forgetting how fast Curry can dribble and step to the side and shoot? Like
He
yes,
wouldn't be doing that
obviously
back in
the
day,
game is
bro.
way more
Defense
physically.
was so much more physical back
Oh,
then.
so you're saying that Curry wouldn't last because the game was more physical.
Yes, I do not think
Yeah,
he'd be durable
did you
enough.
see how much time Curry takes elbows to the face? You see how much time that Curry gets hurt and gets back up and gets in the game?
Do you
I
not
get it.
realize how
There's a lot of
physical
players.
defense was back then?
Logan, trust me. Basketball was a different sport back then. Trust me, I know.
What
I
up,
believe
Squad?
me. All I'm trying to say is
Always
just
in
because
squad,
it was a
always.
different sport. Now, there's a lot of players right now in this league that would not survive. I'll give you that. There's a lot of players right now in this league that would not survive in the old school days. That's true. But to say Steph Curry is one of them, I highly disagree. Curry can play in mostly any generation just based off, like, obviously he's not going to be as effective back then. That's absolutely facts. You know what I'm saying? When you have these monsters really can get physical with you, that's absolutely facts. But would Curry not be able to make something out of himself? Absolutely, he would.
I'm
don't
gonna
understand,
respect.
Logan. I don't think
One shot, boy.
One sec. I'm gonna respect your opinion, and we can agree to disagree.
Respectable.
Yeah, I don't think you understand how good of a like underrated like guard to guard, like a guy that can guard you from the perimeter, the top of the key. Steph Curry is. Steph Curry is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Period. Like he doesn't get any respect.
When cross circles out of them old cats. That's Ash right there.
But like
He would.
I get Logan's point though. Miz brought up a good point too. When you think about basketball in the old school days, man, that's a different sport completely. That's day and night. You know what I'm saying? Like
Just like how Tom
what-
Brady played
what-
back in the 80s, Lawrence Taylor would shit in his mouth.
what Michael Jordan did in his time, that's why he is one of the best players, and if not the best player to ever play the sport. And I don't argue that. I sit here and I try to debate it, bring up LeBron and bring LeBron into the debate, but we'll see when LeBron's career's ended, and we'll put them side to side, and we'll see. And Iverson was my favorite player of all time.
I'll give you.
We're talking about practice,
kidding.
right? We're talking about practice, not basketball.
I'll give you a player that. I'll give you a player that would do really well. A player that would really do well back then would be Russell Westbrook, because if the
Stop
Valves
that.
really okay,
Oh my god.
Stop
Russell,
that.
can I explain to you?
I do not like Russell Westbrook. So
Can I explain to you why he would work back then? Can I explain to you why he would work back then? Because all he would have to do is just go take a mid range. And what is he good at doing now? What is he good at
Is
doing
that
now?
in background?
Oh, my bad. What is he good at doing now? Taking those mid range shots, cutting inside the basket, playing ruthless ball. He actually is a player that likes to get physical. He likes talk checking and like trash talking other players. Like he
Let's
wants
get
to
physical.
Like he is one of those players where the foul, if it didn't matter back then as much, imagine how I wouldn't say dominant, but imagine how physical Russell Westbrook will get in with the players. Like Isaiah Thomas. Imagine him and Russell Westbrook getting into it in basketball back then.
He said basketball.
But you understand my point, though, Zion.
I do understand your point, and then I'm also looking at KD. You know, KD's name, obviously, dominant player. Obviously, you look at what he done in the
Oh
league.
yeah, I
like,
love KD.
yeah, KD.
He's unstoppable, man. That dude's unguardable.
Man.
Screw the Nets.
And that's one thing. That's one thing that a lot of people forget too. Like that Westbrook, KD, and Harden all lost to LeBron in the finals. I get it. They were younger. It was the young team, but still, like you go look at these teams that, like, obviously Michael Jordan was stacked up with some heavy hitters as well. But you go look at some teams that LeBron overcome in these finals. Man, these are super house teams, man.
Shout out my guy.
Like, yeah, people can say, well, that was a young KD, that was a young Westbrook, and that was a young Harden. But guess what? They was all balling out.
All right, Miz. You have a good day, man. I'm out.
All right.
Giants suck. I'm out.
So I'm gonna find you. I know where you live, bro. I'm gonna send Miz for you.
He lives in the slums of Philadelphia.
No, he lives in Syracuse.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
he told
shit.
you could go
That's
get
not
him.
far from Joel.
Yo.
Holy shit! So he can't come out the house for like 4 months in the winter.
Damn, it gets cold up there, huh? Snowstorms and shit.
Yeah, it was really cold here in North Carolina today. It was about
It's
82.
morning tomorrow, so I gotta run out soon and
Oh,
get shovel
man.
and play the field. We're supposed to get about 8 inches tomorrow.
I don't know that lifestyle at all. It's always been tropical weather.
We're gonna
It
make
was
it snow in this stadium, boy.
It was it was so cold today in NC. I think it was around 95. It was freezing.
Michael Jordan's the greatest ever. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Yo, the
Let's get it.
I'm a Knicks fan. I seen him stab me over and over every year. When the second he pulled up and that tongue came out, it was over. That's it, man. Over. That man was an assassin, a savage. He was the greatest ever, man. It's not even close. It's not even close, man. It really isn't, man. Anybody in here disagrees with me? Michael Jordan was the greatest ever, man, ever. And I was not a Bulls fan. I was a Knicks fan, man. And not only was he the greatest ever, his style was beautiful.
No, it's beautiful to watch. I watch
Yeah.
highlights, of course. But like,
That final shot against Utah where he did the crossover step back, yeah, he gave him a little push, but it looked beautiful.
his free throw dunk, the famous free throw dunk.
Bro, if the 93 Knicks were up 2-0 dominating when Starks did that reverse dunk on top of the whole Bulls team, the Garden was shaking, and then we lost the next 4. That Knicks team arguably might be one of the greatest teams in history to not win a championship. The
That's a
93
fact.
Knicks.
That's a
93,
fact.
94. Both years. You know what I'm saying? You did not come into the Garden and beat the Knicks, man. The Knicks, I think the Knicks lost like 1 game all year at home that year. That's crazy. 1 game I think they lost that year at home. Their defense was stupid, bro. They were holding teams to like 64. You know what I mean? It was a different
That's
era.
crazy.
It was a different league, obviously, but
Slay's like, my boys be balling like Curry. I'm not a Steph
I was a
Curry guy.
diehard Knicks fan, bro. I used to go to school with a Knicks JanSport, Knicks starter coat.
I love JanSport.
Stay with the hood, you know. And
That's awesome.
we got beat by Jordan so many times, so many different ways, so heart wrenching on the last shots of games. But after a while, man, I grew to love Jordan because I just said, yo, I mean, you can't even hate this guy. He's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, you know what I mean, you jerk off. Nah, he was amazing, man. He was amazing. Now, the guy I hated to death who used to get us good.
Reggie
also,
Miller.
hated his guts. Yep, Reggie Miller. He looked like a fucking tall rat.
Fuck Reggie Miller.
Well, he had a New York City rat face. But yo, it wasn't his fault. It was that
Oh,
jerk
that's
off
funny.
Spike Lee that's still there. That guy Spike Lee is like a bad luck charm.
Bruh.
Spike Lee would get up and start talking shit to them, and he'd get them going, get them all fired up like an idiot.
Shut the fuck down, you leprechaun. Yo.
And I loved, my favorite player was Patrick Ewing growing up. I loved Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. I was crazy for both of them. Yeah, those were good days, man. That Utah team was a beast. What's up, Hub? What's going on? We've been on here for a while
what's up,
now.
Hub?
2 hours and 30 minutes, man. I'm probably going to drop this in a few minutes. I just came on in the midday, do a little football Giants talk with all the different stories and possibilities coming up. If you want to come on for a couple, 2-3 minutes, real quick, Hub, and speak your mind about who you would like to see as the next coach, or do you want to keep Judge? What is your plan for Sunday night? Because that's when the future for the Giants turns, hopefully. And listen, staying with Judge doesn't mean it doesn't turn. That could be a good thing, too. So everybody has their own opinion. Definitely getting a new GM, and it's definitely going to be outhouse. It's not going to be that guy, Abraham, because I'm not going to allow it. I live near the stadium, and I'm just going to go there and not allow it. So I'm not continuing this 4 to 5 win season every year anymore, man. I'm not. What's growth next year? A direction, some good football, and go get me 7 wins. Show me that we're going in the right direction. I may expect more if we could be healthy, but and I do make a prediction earlier, and I stick to it. Next year, Barkley breaks out with a monster year. You could write that down. The Miz told you so.
1,500 yards of scrimmage. You heard it here first.
I'm not gonna go crazy, yeah. But you get 1,400 and a couple hundred receiving, you have a good year, man.
I said 1,500 from scrimmage.
Oh, I thought you said 1,800.
No, man.
You know, and it all depends on the line. And I mean, I gotta think even a moron, even a 2-year-old is gonna build an O-line in this draft. Even an idiot. So I gotta think.
So Dave
Gettleman.
Gettleman.
David Gettleman's tried. It just something's gone wrong, man. It hasn't worked. And Gettleman's gotten old, man. The game's passed him by.
Attack the O-line in the draft and edge and get a good offensive coordinator. Facts.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I
What
want
about a
the
coach?
offense.
Hub. Who's Hub looking for the coach? Are you keeping Judge one more year? Or if you have a chance at a Sean Payton or a Harbaugh, are you going to get him? And tell Judge, I'm sorry, but good luck. Hey, it is what it is, man. Sometimes you got to
I feel
upgrade
you.
when a possibility comes along and it doesn't come around often. You got to upgrade.
Just the way you said that is like, good luck. Good luck, Judge.
Yeah,
Deuces.
Don't let the door hit you in the asshole later. It is what it is, man. And his
It
mouth,
is what it
honestly, I don't
is.
care what anyone says. His mouth hasn't helped him here lately. So
It is what it is. The next game
If you're
starts
still
in about
taking
an
calls,
hour.
I'll slide through.
if you want to slide in and do it now, I'm gonna break out in about 5 to 10 minutes. I
You
gotta
gotta
go
drop the
get
link for
smoke
him.
in a shovel because there's a snowstorm coming tonight. So
Damn.
I gotta
Logan, can you
prepare.
drop the link for him?
Yeah, I got it.
What's his name? Let me see what Hub says right here.
I just dropped it, Coach. Press that link that I just put in the chat.
Oh, classifieds in the house. Joel, if you want to come in, I'll get you on. If you want to come on solo by yourself, like I was doing earlier, then I'm going to speak to these guys a couple minutes, and I'm going to end the show with you alone. All right, Joel? Hang around 6-7 minutes here. Then, like I said, I got to go out and prep for this.
Let's get it.
Heat Squad's in the house. What up, my man Hits?
What is going on, y'all boys? What's going on?
What's up, Hit?
Yeah, chilling, man. Chilling. Just trying to get over this shit real quick. So I know y'all about to break out, but I'll just leave with this note. I personally wouldn't mind if Judge came back, but if you have any chance at a Harbaugh or a Sean Payton, you as the New York Giants have to do the right thing and the smart thing, and that is telling Joe Judge to hit the road. I personally wouldn't mind if, hypothetically, if all things worked out, a Harbaugh and then having Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. You know how insane that defense would be? You think our defense is good now with Patrick Graham? You know how good our defense would be having those two coaches coaching the defense? And Harbaugh isn't going to get anyone that's just some bum at offensive coordinator. You know, and I'm not gonna say, you know, these coaches are bums. They're in the NFL for a reason. You know? But if you have an opportunity, man, and it's there, you do the right thing and you go get it. You tell Joe Judge, hey, I'm sorry, it is what it is, it's a business. He'll live, he'll understand. But I agree with you, Miz. I think that his voice has definitely been getting him in trouble as of recent. I don't think he's doing himself any favors. I think, look, we can all make speculation, but let's be real, man. He was talking about Washington. I don't care what no one says. He was talking about Washington. And as bad of a head coach as Pat Shermer was, if I'm a head coach, I'm not going to talk about how bad another head coach was doing before me, when realistically we got similar records. We got
The hub is
similar records.
backstage.
So I don't know, man. That's how I feel.
Well, I agree with you, bro. If you got a chance to get a monster coach like Harbaugh or Sean Payton, there's nothing to think about here.
I mean,
Miz,
that's
I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna let you get the hub and Joel and Classified on here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
Make
I'm
sure you
gonna-
guys subscribe to all these amazing content creator channels.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, call me
And
later.
let's get it. Yes, call me later. Giants for life. Let's get it.
Yep, I'm a
Thanks
hop
for
out
that,
too.
man.
Thanks for having me on, Miz. I appreciate it.
Poor Logan.
But yeah, man, that's how I feel about it. I agree with you, bro. Like, you have to get yourself, if you're able to, a head coach that's established. Not that I don't want any of these college coaches coming up, because there are some good ones, but we tried it, man. We tried the young. We tried these, new coaches. They're the hottest thing, and it hasn't worked. So if we could get someone established, someone that could tell Mara, hey, let me do my job and you do yours, I think we got something cooking. I really don't think we're as far off as a lot of people think we are. What's going on, Hood?
Right.
Yo, can you hear me? I'm on my
Oh,
phone
yeah,
because I'm outside right now.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, first of all, shout out to his squad in here. Yo, shout out to Pins, yo. Thanks for having me on. Zion and Logan were just on. Shout out to them. In terms of you were asking me what I do. It's kind of that same comment you highlighted there. I don't want Joe Judge back, but I can see us still having not necessarily success, but I could see us getting back on track with him if a couple of things go right. It's a couple of things, but it's not easy. It's a lot of hard things, like getting a good offensive coordinator that's like actually in this century and knows how to coach in the 2020s. That's one of them. Getting the O-line fix is another one. That's really hard to do. Solidifying that defense. There's like 3 things to do where I'm like, maybe we could get back on track with him. But honestly, I think the way to go is just a clean sweep of everything. That's new GM, new coach, new OC. And I've been saying it for months. You've heard me say it for months, Miz. We need a new medical staff, a new scouting staff, a new training staff. I want a new everything, man.
Well, that comes with a new, like you just said, a new everything. That comes, if you're going to get a new GM and a new coach, you're going to have a new scouting team, which I'm worried about more than the medical team, but I understand what you're saying. And you know what? If Mara wants to really turn this whole shit around, go lay down a new field. We got into that, everything, So let's go brand new here. Because, hey, I'm a big believer that Black Cat 2 years ago is somewhere still in that stadium.
Where are you with it? You want Judge back or you want a new coach?
This is my thing with Judge. You're not, I spoke earlier for like a half hour before I started taking calls. This is my thing. You, real briefly, you want to do the right thing by a person, and he does deserve more time. But here's the thing, man. And we did not put together an O-line, and he's part of the blame because he ignored the O-line in the draft last year. I don't care what anyone says, with his draft. But the thing is this. If you have a chance to get a monster, a top-level head coach, which this organization is, we usually only win when we have these big names, and we're a mess right now. So if you have a chance to get a Harbaugh, or this morning ESPN Radio was throwing around a Sean Payton might want to come back here. You got a chance to get those 2 guys. I apologize to you, Judge. Maybe things weren't fair and it didn't work out the way we wanted to, but we have to move on because we owe it to the fan base, man.
I completely agree with you. I had Ash on my stream last night, right? I'm not sure if you caught it. That stream was bigger than I expected. More people tuned in than I expected. But I had him on my stream, and when we brought up Harbaugh, he said the same thing, and I agreed. He was like, when you have somebody like Jim Harbaugh, if they're actually interested, because it's just a rumor, but if they're actually interested, no, Joe Judge is gone. There's no question about it. And for me, I'd extend it. Maybe I'm a little too loose with the requirements, but I have 3 requirements. I'm like, you've been a head coach at the NFL level, you've had success at a head coach at the NFL level, and you're considered a veteran head coach. That's who I want our next head coach to be. Jim Harbaugh fits that. Sean Payton fits that. There's a couple people out there that honestly fit that I would say without question, I'm replacing Judge with that person.
Yeah.
You got to do your due diligence.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty simple, man. Are you tired of the losing, man? I don't care about being faithful or some coach's feelings. The only obligation this ownership has is to this fan base and to live up to Giants football expectations, and we haven't been that for a bunch of years now. You have a chance to bring in a program builder, a winning, real name head coach to come bring this Giants franchise back up again. And I don't want to hear about, people don't want to come here because it's a mess. No, you're wrong. People do want to come here because when you raise the Giants back up again, you're going down a king in New York. Everybody knows that. So you have a chance at Harbaugh. There's nothing to think about. Sunday night, Tish and Mara get together in that office. They sit down, they talk. I would be shocked if Mara hasn't already had a conversation with Harbaugh on the down low.
Hey, you know what else? You know what else, man? Once again, shout out to Ashford because I completely agree with it. I'm going to start rolling with it. I'm tired of the Giants way. The Giants way is dead. I'm sorry if you still believe in it, but the Giants way hasn't been alive for a good 10 years, maybe even 20. If you consider the way that those Super Bowl teams won compared to the ones of the 90s and the 80s, that goes for the coaches as well. Jim Harbaugh is the exact opposite of the type of coaches we've been hiring. He talks back to the media. He's a fiery dude. He's not somebody that holds back when you compare that to the coaches we've had before.
Yes. Dude, we won 2 Super Bowls with Parcells in 86 and 90, and people still talk about him like he's God. Coughlin won you 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning was not the best quarterback in the league. He was very inconsistent in the regular season, but he won 2 Super Bowls, and forever he will be a legend in this part of the country. And that's what I'm trying to say. You come here like a Harbaugh. He knows if he comes here and ever won a Lombardi with the Giants, he goes down as a legend in the entire country. He does. Winning in the New York area is bigger than winning anywhere else. Especially the Giants have a monster fan base, very popular organization, and right now they are so far at the bottom. The person that takes them back to the top is going down a god.
And you want to, like I was saying earlier, you want somebody that's a veteran, that's proven, that's winning before. Harbaugh fits that, but he's also somebody that's turned around programs. He turned around Michigan, and when he was with the 49ers, he turned them around too.
100%. Listen, Harbaugh's a winner, man. Harbaugh is a winner.
I mean, Harbaugh had the 49ers competitive year in and year out. I mean, and let's be real.
They went from 4-12 to like 13-3 when he got there.
That defense, when we played them, man, was one of the best defenses I've ever seen.
And what's crazy is he's an offensive guy, and he still managed to build that defense.
Exactly.
And he's quote unquote, as we always like to say, he's an old school guy, but he also knows modern football. You know what I'm saying?
He's adapted. I should say. I mean,
yes, he's an all-around guy, man.
One of my biggest issues with Judge is it just seems that he gets outcoached. You know, every game that we play. You know, I don't see the proper adjustment.
6-10, my bad. Yeah, Authentic pointed out it was 6-10, not 4-12.
Yeah, 6
go
and
ahead,
10.
My bad.
You know, there's games where, you know, we just don't look prepared at all. I don't see that happening under a Harbaugh. I don't see that happening, especially under a Sean Payton, you know, if that's there. I mean, it's going to take a lot. There's things that need to be done with this team. There's things that need to be fixed. But is Joe Judge going to be that guy? I don't. To be honest with you, I want to believe it, but I just really don't know. So I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm not going to complain if he's let go. I'm not going to complain if he stays, personally. But like I said, you got that opportunity, man. If you're John Mara, do the right thing and you make that call. I don't
listen. No matter what, they need to figure this out before they start scouting.
Yeah.
They really do.
course.
Because that goes back to what Miz was saying. When the new GM comes in, hopefully we get a new scouting team.
Yep. And I had said this
Conversation should have already been had with Harbaugh right now, this week. If not, by next week, the latest. Should have already been had. There should be some sense of idea if the guy really wants to be here over any other team, Raiders, Bears. No, I want to be a Giant. Do you guys want me? That conversation should have been had already. If this statement is true that came out on Tuesday, right, that Harbaugh said he's interested in coming back to the NFL and he would like to be the Giants football coach if the job was available. You hear that? He's throwing a hint to the organization if the job becomes available. You get it? I mean, you can't get any more of a hint than that.
But yo, Miz, I'm gonna bounce though, man. Thank you for having me on. Like I said, I'm outside on the phone. I'm gonna catch you later, bro. Keep it going. You're running something great over here. And shout out to everybody.
This guy got a great channel, man. You all know the hub. I don't even need to tell you guys who he is.
Peace.
Likewise, Miz. I appreciate you having me on, man. Please keep doing this.
Thanks, Hits, man.
It's amazing.
Be involved. I'll be doing these once a week now. This week was twice. I'm new to this, but I wanted to do a midday because it was a lot of downtime. A lot of people want to talk football in the middle of the day when there's downtime. And I'll be doing a bottom line with Miz once a week. That's going to be my little broadcast. So look out for it. Next week, I like to do a show with everybody on the playoffs. So we would talk Giants, but we could get away from it and talk about predictions for the games coming up next weekend during the playoffs. Thanks for calling, man. I always watch your videos. That's Hit Squad sub up. That's my man, Hit Squad. He's a football man, and you can check out his stuff.
Thank you, brother. I
want to throw your thing in the chat real quick? Go ahead.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the channel, man. Big Blue Crew for life, man. We're going to get this figured out, y'all. I mean, once step at a time. I know it's been damn near over a decade, but we will figure this out. It's just a matter of when. But I'm going to just leave on with this quote that the great Miz has been preaching, man. This draft is crucial. I don't care who's the coach. I don't care who the general manager is. This is such a crucial draft. This could be a draft that sets this team back. This could be a draft that elevates this team to who knows where we could be at. Because I don't think, we really think about how good this offensive line could be if we do this correctly. And we haven't seen a good offensive line in a long time. So
100%.
But I appreciate you having me on, Miz. Be safe. I'm sure one of us will be streaming later.
Of course we will. Definitely. See you later, brother. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for the support. Please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate the support allowing me to try to grow as I start brand new on these streams. I've always done videos, but my second live stream on my own, and really I don't care about getting famous or rich. What it is I enjoy talking football. I love it. And I've been watching the Giants since 1985 and never missed a game. Even last week was the first time in history I missed the kickoff. And I didn't miss much, but I got back before the half. Authentic, if you want to call in real quick and have your piece for a couple of minutes, I'll give you the stage if you want to talk about what you'd like to see Sunday night after this game's over and what direction you want Mara to go in. And if you're busy, then we could do that another time. Close the fridge, Nick. So, guys, I'm going to jump off. It's been a great stream. We've been on for 2 hours and 53 minutes. And I know us fans are so passionate. We could talk Giants and football for like life. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for the support. Next week, I plan to do a show on the playoffs. And whatever pursues with the Giants this Sunday night and Monday, I'll obviously talk about that. And take a look for once a week. I'll have the episode. The bottom line with Miz. Have a good night. Oh, Authentic, hold on. We got the great Authentic coming on here for a couple minutes. This guy is great, man. I get to talk to him. I spoke to him once on the phone. Very, very knowledgeable, very deep, passionate Giants fan. What up, Authentic?
What's popping, Miz? How you living, man?
What's going on, my man? How are you? How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Just finished up a little bit of work, getting ready to go live here at 7 o'clock here. So figured I'd pop in and say my piece like you were saying.
Yeah, say your piece. I want to check into your thing tonight. I gotta run out and get a shovel because we got a snowstorm coming. But
Facts.
I will be back for that. Definitely be watching it on my phone too. But yo, talk. It's you.
Yeah, for me, so I know a lot of people want to double and triple dip as far as offensive line goes in this draft. I think that'll be the same kind of mistake we made last year with the wide receiver position and with the weapons, just trying to kind of bail out and save this quarterback's situation in New York. I think it will be a lot more beneficial if we actually have the guy out there that we want.
Right.
So somehow with these first 3 picks that we get, pull a quarterback here if you got the guy out there, because then you don't got to force him to just jump into the starting lineup here in 2022. Daniel Jones could get the start, get another year to try to prove himself possibly. And you got this backup in my eyes right now, hopefully a guy like Malik Willis sitting on the bench for a year and ready to go by 2023. I do like the idea of at least drafting some stock in the offensive line because we know the offensive line has been terrible. But first things first, you got to get rid of Gettleman when this game is over here on Sunday. That's first things first. And I think with the way things have been going, especially with that last 11-minute rant in that press conference with Joe Judge and what we've seen on the field, I mean, you pretty much are just seeing a guy who's telling a bunch of fibs up there at the podium, at these press conferences about players calling him and a bunch of different things. And I think you got to fire Joe Judge next. If Harbaugh is out there and he's willing to come to New York and step in, we already know what Harbaugh has done with the San Francisco 49ers. And even over there with the 49ers, they didn't have A1 quarterback play at any point. They had Alex Smith and they had Colin Kaepernick. And Colin Kaepernick was a good dual threat running quarterback, and Alex Smith was pretty much a game manager. I think it's the perfect kind of guy that will come over here and be suitable for New York. And being that he was a quarterback himself, I like that even more. You got a guy who actually played in the league, that's been there, done that, has the reputation of doing it, and he's seasoned. He's an experienced coach. I know there's been a lot of talks about him coming back to the NFL now for about 3 to 4 years with no dice being rolled. And hopefully we could get that, that kind of caliber coaching here, which was one of the reasons why I didn't want to go with Joe Judge in the first place. But I definitely did have faith in Joe Judge. But I think the 2 seasons is enough. I know a lot of people have been on this, following a lot of these cliches about you can't fire the coach after 2 years, every coach. But if he's not the right guy, he's not the right guy. It's just like a relationship. It's no reason to stay deep in a relationship if you're not invested into it mentally. And with your heart and physically. So, it's time to call it quits, I think, on Joe Judge. Whether Mara's going to, have the, audacity or the guts to actually do it is a whole nother thing. But I'm hoping that he will cave to the pressure of the fans because, Giants football has not, been at its glory days here now for over 5 years. And realistically, we talking a decade plus.
All right. So you basically, you're done with Judge. Bottom line.
I'm done with
There's
Judge.
no if and or buts. There's no maybe I'll do this for him. None of that, man.
No, I'm done with Joe Judge. I mean, it's been bad the whole time he's been here, pretty much outside of them last couple of games in the 2020 season. And that gave us faith, going into this next season. But I think just that, you got to think about the situation that was happening around the NFL, the COVID situation, no preseason, things were very limited. So the expectations were very low. I'm sick of lowering the bar for coaches. I'm sick of lowering the bar for quarterbacks. For me, keep trying guys until you can get the right one in there playing that quarterback position and the coaching position. I think they're very important. I think Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. I've been saying that the whole season pretty much. And you can win games with an average quarterback. That's for damn sure. But with this coaching combination, with this quarterback, I don't know if you can have an offensive coordinator come in here and bank on an offensive coordinator saving the New York Giants for 2022. I'd rather just get a head start on rebuilding this team the proper way and do it with a new GM and definitely a new head coach. And if that head coach wants a new quarterback, let's bring in a new quarterback.
So let me ask you this, man, because me personally, I'm not a believer in any of these quarterbacks coming out of this draft. So let me ask you this. If a Russell Wilson's on the table and it doesn't take away both ones in this draft, you could somehow mix it up and do a 1 this year, 1 next year, and a 3 and a 3 or a 3 and a 4, whatever it is. If they want Jones, we can mix that in there. Are you willing to go for a Russell Wilson, depending on if one of these big name coaches comes in here and that's a guy he wants? Or you rather build up, keep all our picks, build the trenches, get the O-line, get a DE, get a linebacker, build it the old way, the way you're supposed to, and you wait for a quarterback in 23, assuming Jones
I
next
don't
year
I
has
don't
not
like the
improved.
plan of waiting for the quarterback in 2023. I like getting Russell Wilson more than waiting till 2023 because there's a lot of different things that could happen if you wait till 2023. And that's more my reasoning for going with the quarterback, at least drafting him in this draft. I mean, he doesn't have to be the guy to just go out here and start day one as a rookie. We've seen plenty quarterbacks fail like that. You've seen it right now with Trevor Lawrence. He's had a horrible year. You got guys like Davis Mills playing better football than him. He's a rookie as well, and they drafted him later in the draft. You got Zach Wilson with the Jets struggling, and when you bring in a high-tier quarterback like that on a bad team, they're usually not set up to do well, and that's why in the past, 5 to 8 years, you look at all the quarterbacks that have been drafted, we're talking about a lot of misses, okay? We're not talking about a lot of hits at the quarterback position. Even if you could date that back 20 years. You don't got a lot of Hall of Famers, even with the number one pick at the quarterback position. There are guys like Jameis Winston out there and a bunch of others who didn't fare well. So for me, you don't know where you're going to be at entering the 2023 draft. If all goes well and you repair this offensive line the proper way, then the New York Giants should get back to at least being at mediocrity and maybe winning a good 6, 7, maybe 8 games, which that's going to put you somewhere outside of the top 10. And then what's going to happen in 2023, if you don't got your quarterback still by then, you're going to have to try to trade up to get back in the top 10 to probably get the top prospect out there at the quarterback position. I really like more going with the quarterback now if you think you got a guy you can develop. And for me right now, I haven't done like a deep dive on the quarterbacks in the draft coming out for 2022, but I've seen Malik Willis play. And if you could get a guy like that, let's say with your first, second round pick, I think we got the 37th pick or something like that. If you could get him with that pick and then double dip on the offensive lineman for the first 2 or maybe go offensive line edge rusher, for me, that just makes a lot more sense. You look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did with Jalen Hurts. It's very similar, and I think Malik Willis has a very similar play style to Jalen Hurts as well. But you draft a quarterback like that in the second round, one, you're not going to have to pay him first-round top 10 money. That's number one. Right now, Jalen Hurts makes about a quarter of the money that Daniel Jones makes. So right there, you saving a little bit of money, and the Giants are strapped for cash here going into 2022. You bring in that quarterback, you allow him to sit. There's no real pressure on him. You got a guy that's been out here for 3 seasons in Daniel Jones. If you can bring him back as the starter and maybe mold this rookie up a little bit, who knows? Maybe by midseason he's ready to go out there and play. But for me, it just doesn't make sense to try to get rid of Daniel Jones for a guy like Russell Wilson right now, just because you got the 4th year with Daniel Jones already. It's paid for. You might as well see what he got. What if he goes out there and he puts up 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, some big numbers with the yards and whatnot? Well, then you don't give him the big bag, but at least you can think about franchise tagging him and put off this whole quarterback situation for another year. Some will say that drafting a quarterback this year, and if that happens with Daniel Jones, then you wasted a pick on a quarterback. But for me, having a good, talented, young quarterback on your roster will never hurt. We got a 17-game season nowadays. Having 2 quarterbacks that are solid on the roster is not going to be a bad thing. We saw and we reaped the non-benefit of that this season by having a guy like Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm on the bench. And now you see what it is. There's more value in the backup quarterback position nowadays than there's ever been with 17 games on the season.
Well, 100%, man. You don't need to look any further than these last 4 or 5 weeks with the trash that we've been walking out onto the field as a quarterback. For a reason to why not have 2 quarterbacks battle it out or one kid sit while Jones plays next year, holds you over. And if Jones emerges, then you got what you always wanted. And if he doesn't, you have the kid waiting behind him. Like you said, sit for a year. You don't have to throw him to the wolves on a team that's probably not going to be ready anyway. So you're right about that. As far as the coaching, everybody knows we have a fan base here that's torn, especially on social media. So we have guys that are old school and want to continue to plan with Judge. And I see that point of it's not really fair to the guy that we haven't had what he needs to win. And we're going to take him away in the middle of his plan. And probably when the Giants sat down with him, they probably did promise him more than 2 years, let's be honest. But here's the thing, man. I look at this. In last year's draft, this guy dropped the ball. Now, if anyone wants to blame Gettleman like we do for everything, go ahead. This guy was given the keys to go shop for his players. And in a draft loaded with offensive linemen, we didn't even look at one. And to me, that's a major problem because we walked out a garbage product, a garbage line that's gotten Jones hurt, you haven't seen Barkley yet. A big reason, he's had an injury and he's not fully recovered yet. He's just starting to come out of it looks like.
Yeah.
But the line didn't make it easier. And It's ruined the season. It's been a virus. And I said this last year before the draft that if we didn't address the line, it was going to destroy our season. I don't care how much money and how many wide receivers you bring in. And that's what's happened. So anyway, it's all gone. Forget all that. You're going into this year. To me, this is one of the most vital drafts in our history, and you got to get the right guys in here. So the thing about Judge is this. If you have a chance to get a Harbaugh, or these are big names. Another name thrown out on ESPN radio this morning in New York was Sean Payton, who started around here with the Giants. Okay? And real quick, I said this before, there are people out there that, why would anybody want to be with the Giants? They stink. Wrong. Get a clue. The Giants are one of the most flag-staffed organizations in the country, in the biggest market in the country. And if you come here and take the Giants back up somewhere near the top, you go down a god in this area. We all know that.
That's fact.
And that's incentive alone on top of the money you're gonna make. So you know what? You have a chance for a Harbaugh, and you have a chance for a Sean Payton. I'm sorry, Judge. I know it ain't fair, but the only loyalty this ownership has right now is to this fan base and fix this trash that they've been putting out for the last 5 years. Longer.
That's real.
Longer. Because if you take away 16, when they tried to buy it quickly, okay, it was a fraud. They've been garbage for like 9 years.
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been really bad, man. Outside of that one season, the Giants have struggled. And offensively, it has been a major point of emphasis for the New York Giants, too. You got to find a way to put some touchdowns on the board. I mean, you got a guy, I was looking at this on Twitter the other day, Odell Beckham. He's been over there with the Rams now for 7 weeks. He's got 5 touchdowns. The Giants wide receiver core is a total don't got 5 touchdowns. That's pitiful.
I know.
And,
it's not an old lineman that has a touchdown reception, but not your $72 million wide receiver, man.
It really makes no sense. And I don't blame that all on the personnel and on the talent. I've been kind of reneging on my stance a little bit about Dave Gettleman a bit, because a lot of this is his fault, but a lot of this is also Mara's fault and also Joe Judge's fault. Because if indeed Mara had the intentions of pairing Jason Garrett with Joe Judge and forcing that philosophy on him, then he's pretty strapped on the offensive side of the ball. And that, I think that's probably the one place where Giants fans want to see like one more chance for Joe Judge with a new offensive coordinator of his choice maybe, or of his liking, and to see if maybe he could get it together. But, throughout the year on the field, it's been bad. And you guys fired Jason Garrett midseason, and that offense has looked about twice as bad since we fired him. I know Daniel Jones was only out there for about a half of football with Freddie Kitchens, but Freddie Kitchens has looked god-awful, and he looks like he has no business and no place being an offensive coordinator in the NFL. And that's a decision from Joe Judge. And you got to look at the defensive side of the ball. I mean, things have not been great in no aspect of the New York Giants. So I'm looking for them to clean this up, man. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan, man, and I just try to just call it like I see it. And I think some of this stuff is really obvious, like your gripes with the offensive line going into last season. I remember you talking about it. It's blatant as day. It was blatant as day that they had to go make a move on offensive line, whether it be in the draft, free agency, or something, and they didn't. They neglected it throughout the whole draft, went out there, traded a pick back, didn't get a good defensive edge rusher either. You settled for Kadarius Toney, which I'm not too mad about, but with the injury situations with Kadarius Toney, it's been tough to stay in that wagon for sure. So for me, I'm just looking for them to find a way to clean this up. And, it just, when you look at it like just logically and just with common sense, you hired a guy who has no head coaching experience on any level of football. That just don't seem like it's going to work out. And I think we all fell for the trick bag at the beginning of the season in the summer. And, we were just really relying off hope. And you can't win football games off hope. You got to go out there, get the right players, get the right coaching staff behind them, and get the right people to develop those players.
I mean, you don't have to look. Listen, you don't have to look further than the final week before the season when the Giants are scrambling around picking up players that don't even want to play anymore. I mean, they're ready to retire. You traded B.J. Hill out of desperation for this center, right? B.J. Hill is balling out in Cincinnati. What a beast, man. And you were paying him nothing, so you got rid of him. And listen, that's basically GM and coach admitting to you, wow, we made a huge mistake. We're 5 days before the season, and we're going to grab anybody. Any heavy guy we could put on the line, man.
Exactly.
I was scared to death that week. I'll be honest with you. And as far as Judge, I'm not even going to blame Judge, man, because we were getting a 37, a 38-year-old kid coach, okay, that you knew was going to also grow. Like, we bring in kids, and we say we got to give them a couple years to grow. Well, you brought in a kid coach, and you got to give him a couple years to grow. So this is what you get. You got what you got. got what you got, right? Authentic.
Yeah.
You got what you hired, man. You knew what you were hiring.
Yeah. And you were
Giants
banking
never
and hoping
played-
that he could coach at the caliber of, some of these seasoned veteran-like coaches, but that's just not the case with Joe Judge. And, we all hoped it was going to go well, felt great about it. Everything he was saying in those press conferences early on in his career, it all seemed good, but the Giants are back to losing ways. And, we starting to feel like Ben McAdoo was a decent coach. And, I even posted up something on Twitter today with Danny Cannell's statistics and, a couple other quarterbacks from the bad eras of the New York Giants. And, man, those guys were sitting right around 500 as far as winning percentage goes. So that's looking real good nowadays where the New York Giants are presently at right now.
And, it's not even a record, man. You can watch the games. You know what I'm saying? You watch a football game. And you pass the 50-yard line once in the game, man. I mean, this is the NFL, man. We're not talking about junior high school football here.
Right.
You pass the 50-yard line once. Are you serious? All I can expect out of you is a field goal a game. And the defense
that's
is
what I'm
trying.
expecting
The defense
this
is
game on
trying.
Sunday.
You got a defense out there that plays a good half, but they know that if they don't shut a team out, they can't win.
You got no shot. And this offense has been one of the most lackluster offenses I've ever seen in my whole entire existence of watching football. I wanted to go digging through the stats before our show today, and I do got to make a move here soon. But, I wanted to see if there was ever a chance where any team had started a quarterback back-to-back weeks and each quarterback did not put up over 25 yards. Because that's what the New York Giants are dealing with right now with Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon. You're looking at, under 50 yards for the starting quarterback in back-to-back weeks together. That it really makes no sense. We all know that the 4 completions from Mike Glennon is like one of the lowest lows in the NFL. The yards of -10 net yards, we ain't seen that since Ryan Leaf. And for those of us that were fortunate or unfortunate enough to be able to see Ryan Leaf play football, it was really, really, really bad football. And the New York Giants are somehow playing worse football than that, man. So I don't know, man. All you can do is sit back, hope, try and be a little bit patient, and pray to God that, this front office gets it together.
Look, I know you got to go real quick. I believe if the Giants do the right thing in this draft and go out and if they can have a Harbaugh and they do the right thing and hit the trenches in this draft because they have the picks to do it and the players in this draft are perfectly set up for the Giants. The Giants, with the weapons they have, I think they could. I'm not telling you they're going to turn around and go to Super Bowl next year, but you could see a 9-win team next year. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility in this league where the league is set up for teams to bounce back fast. You've seen it in a couple of teams this year, like Cincinnati. So you got to do the right thing, and it starts with the top. You got to get the right guys in here, football minds. I mean, we got to go in a different direction. The Giants are kind of stuck in the 80s a little. It's time to get away from that. And I still believe in Mara. I think he's going to do the right thing. Whatever that right choice is, by the way, don't sit on Sunday and as a fan and root for the Giants to win because that'll do us nothing but only make things work. I hate to say that.
That's definitely right, man. I'll be rooting for a touchdown. I want to see that offense drive
down
the field and put up a touchdown.
Would be nice, yeah.
Something like that would be really nice. And it would be nice to see Saquon Barkley, have another game because he just had his best game against the Bears since injuring himself in 2020 against the Bears. So I'm hoping that all goes well. I got to shoot out of here. We're going to be live at 7 o'clock. But pull up, man. We're going to be doing a little bit of over-under kind of reactions on the show today. So it's going to be filled with over-unders. And then we're doing a little bit of trivia to kind of round out the show, man. So it should just be a fun vibe to end the season.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on. That's authentic. Sub up. I mean, I don't even think you need to. If you're not subbed up with him already, you're already behind. So
I appreciate that, man.
Get that. Show's coming on with the Beard. They run a great show. The Beard is a big Washington fan. So it would be a good weekend as a Giant fan to actually tune in over there.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's going to be a good one, man. We got a little rivalry going. We're going to try and settle it with this trivia today, man. So, yeah, pull up, man.
I'll be on there. All
right, fellas. Y'all be good, man. Good chopping it up with you, Miz. All right, my guy.
All right, guys. I'm going to jump off. We've been on a long stream today. We did 3 hours, 13 minutes. Appreciate everybody who came on. You guys are great. I love everybody that comes on. We continue doing this football thing. Never give up on your team, whatever that team may be. Always believe. I'm a Giants fan since 1985. I've seen the Giants go through lows, maybe not this low, but I've seen it. And I've seen the Giants bounce back and win Super Bowls, usually 2 and 4 years. You always get a nice run. I believe the Giants can turn this around. This draft, I'll say it again. This might be the most important single draft in Giants history. We got to go in this draft. We got to get it, and we got to get it right. And I actually believe the Giants will. And it all starts Sunday night with a big decision by the ownership, Mara and Tisch. Do the right thing. If you have a chance at one of these big name coaches like Sean Payton or Harbaugh, you got to do it. If you totally believe 100% in Judge, you keep him and you go out and get a young, smart GM that has it together to come in and work with him. Somebody with a different mind frame than we've had over all these years. A new direction. Guys, I'll be back on next week. All right, it'll be the bottom line with Miz, where we will talk playoffs and predictions. What's up, Frank G? Thanks for joining a little late. Thank you, Nikki, for coming in. Please sub up. Hit me with the thumbs up. I will try to do some more of these shows where I bring on people one-on-one. Again, we've been on for over 3 hours. I got to go do a couple of things, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support. Giants for life.